Halloween is just around the corner, and the Tear Dome is rocking on a Thursday night. Hello, everyone. We welcome you inside Lane Stadium for Thursday night college football between the Syracuse Orange and the Virginia Tech Hokies. I'm Tyler Katz, joined alongside my partner, Carter Hill. Carter, a matchup with a lot of history dating back to the Big East, but these two teams fighting for two very different goals. Virginia Tech 2-1 in the ACC, trying to get back to 500 overall with a reinvented offense, now pushing towards a bowl bid. Meanwhile, Syracuse on a 3-game slide and are the only remaining winless team in the conference.
No doubt about it, TK. First off, great to be with you finally. After 3 years together, we are finally calling a football game together, so I'm so excited about it. But no, to your point, Virginia Tech, I mean, they have completely reinvented their offense with Kyron Drones as the starting signal caller for the Hokies. You mix in the guys like somebody like a Bashaw Tootin in the backfield, somebody like a Jalen Lane to throw to. It's become a dynamic offense for Virginia Tech, and that is what potentially could lead the Hokies to a bowl game. On the flip side for Syracuse, to your point, it has been a roller coaster of a season. They start 4-0, probably as a result of a lighter schedule, but then on top of that, you lose 3 in a row. You've been outscored 112-24 over the past 3 games, and they just haven't been able to do anything offensively. Now, a lot of that is because of injuries. Garrett Schrader is very good as the starting quarterback for the Orange. He can move the ball well on the ground. LaQuint Allen is really good in the backfield, but there's not a ton of skill position talent for Syracuse, and it has gotten them in a hole in 2023.
So Virginia Tech, as I mentioned, now 3-4, coming off a really good win just about 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest, as we have some parachuters parachuting into Lane Stadium here on a Thursday night. But that game, 30-13 for Virginia Tech, but barring a kick return by Wake Forest, held them to just 6 points on 2 field goals offensively.
Defensively, the Hokies were stout. It's the first time Virginia Tech hasn't allowed an offensive touchdown since 2019. That was Bud Foster's last home game as the defensive coordinator for the Virginia Tech Hokies when the Pitt Panthers came here and they held Pitt to a 28-0 donut. The Hokies, I mentioned the offense, they found their identity. Well, defensively, they've been pretty dang good, too, and it starts up front with guys like Antoine Powell-Ryland, had, 3.5 sacks in that win over Wake Forest. It was a season high for the Hokies. It was a career high for the Florida transfer. So the combination of both the offense and the defense, as you would expect, getting going, has allowed the Hokies to turn the season around.
Now, for Syracuse, they're on a 3-game slide, and this is the final game of a 3-game true road trip. The first time Syracuse has played 3 straight true road games since 1996. But you take a look at those 3 games, about as difficult as it gets. The dynasty of Clemson, number 14 at the time, North Carolina, and number 4, Florida State.
Oh, yeah. And Clemson isn't what they've been in, the past few years. They're not, the crown jewel of the ACC, if you will, but still a tough opponent. You had them at home, and I think if you're Syracuse, you feel like you missed a little bit of an opportunity there. But no, I know North Carolina lost to UVA this past weekend in Chapel Hill, but you can't expect to go down to the state of North Carolina and take down the Tar Heels, who for the most part have been really good this year. Florida State is an animal of its own, probably in a category of its own in the ACC. Easily the favorite to win the league at this point, but you get curb stomped, and it doesn't give you guys, if you're Syracuse, it doesn't give the Orange a lot of hope going forward. But you still have 5 games left. You have time to turn it around, and this is a great opportunity tonight.
The giant American flag parachute comes in. Always great to have members of the armed forces parachute in and give such a great vibe. In Lane Stadium, also known as the Tear Dome as it's been named over the years, is rocking on a place on Thursday night. And arguably no place in college football has been more famous than right here at Lane Stadium. Well, we'll step aside, let you take in the Inner Sandman experience on a Thursday night on 3304 Sports. Nothing like Enter Sandman, and it has that extra buzz here on a Thursday night. Tyler Katz joined alongside Carter Hill on the call for 3304 Sports, and so blessed to be joined with you here from Level 7 of Lane Stadium tonight. Coin toss between the captains currently between Syracuse and Virginia Tech in a big ACC battle that means so much to both these teams, but both teams looking for a win in very different ways.
No doubt about it. You mentioned the 3-game losing streak for Syracuse. Well, this is a daunting task for the Orange. It is for any opponent. I don't care where Virginia Tech is at from a skill position standpoint and where they're at from a talent standpoint. It is always tough to win in a night game inside Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. And for Virginia Tech, I should say, it is a Thursday night game. You want to be able to take advantage of that opportunity in the national spotlight. You've been playing really, really well as a group, so it's time to continue the momentum and move to 4-4 on the season. I think, much like the Wake Forest game, Tyler, this is one of those games to show off progress in the Brent Pry era if the Hokies are able to take the win.
Coin toss has completed. The Hokies win the toss and deferred the second half, which means Syracuse will receive the ball first. And the way this Syracuse team has been playing is through momentum. This first drive for Syracuse, whether they get stopped by that stout Hokies defense or whether they can break through, seems like it will set the tone for the game.
Oh, no doubt about it. And you mentioned the likes of the Syracuse Orange getting the ball first. And, if you're Garrett Schrader, who, in my opinion, is probably one of the more dynamic quarterbacks in the ACC, one of the best, maybe the second best Virginia Tech will see this season behind, of course, Jordan Travis with no Drake May and the North Carolina Tar Heels on the schedule. You got to make a statement here. You got to go right down the field and score and silence this Lane Stadium crowd. Well,
this Lane Stadium crowd is ready, as they're singing about right now. Student section swaying side to side, as it will be for Virginia Tech. Kyle Lowe putting the ball on the tee. Back deep to receive for Syracuse is DeMarcus Adams, averaging about 15.5 yards per kickoff return, but has only taken it out 6 times this season for Syracuse, now playing in their 8th game, so more likely than not seeing a touchback here from Kyle Lowe.
Particularly with the touchback specialist himself in Mr. Lowe, who is wearing the new number 38 today for Virginia Tech. Suffered an injury against Wake Forest, but seems to be good to go tonight.
Toe meets leather, and we're underway from the Tear Dome, Lane Stadium on a Thursday night, and indeed the ball goes through the end zone for a touchback. The Hokies, wearing all maroon pants, jerseys, and helmets, fires up the student section in the north end zone, as it will be Garrett Schrader's offense taking the field.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And at their own 25, I mentioned Syracuse needs to make a statement. Well, Virginia Tech's defense has to as well. It's their house. You're in Lane Stadium. Make a statement early on and force a 3 and out.
Garrett Schrader will line up with 1 receiver to the left side, 2 receivers to either side, both stacked. Schrader looking left, is under pressure quickly, gets away, flings it as he falls down out of the pocket. No flag for intentional grounding. It's an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10, Syracuse.
That's going to be interesting, TK. I think if you're Garrett Schrader, he was going to be sacked for a loss of about 10 yards. You got to throw the flag in this situation if you're the officiating crew, and there it is.
Yep, they throw the flag. We'll get the call, and it is intentional grounding. That is a loss of down as well. So that backs Syracuse 2nd down and 20 from their own 15. And if you talk about momentum, that's not how you want to start for the Orange.
Disastrous start for Syracuse, and we mentioned Virginia Tech defensively needing to make a statement. Well, that is an exhilarating start. Syracuse has sacked a ton. Let's keep that in mind. And a nice start for this Virginia Tech defensive front.
This crowd is loud. Trips to the right, 1 to the left. Schrader takes the snap. It will be a handoff to Allen, who busts up the middle at the 20. Flag comes in from the backfield, and it seems like it's going to be against Syracuse again. 2 plays, 2 penalties if it is a hold, which it is. Disastrous start, undisciplined by Syracuse. They're going to be backed up all the way inside their own 10-yard line.
And potentially right around the 5 for the Syracuse Orange. It's going to be a half the distance penalty for Syracuse. So let's do the mental math, Tyler. That makes it's going to be 2nd down and 28 from the 7 for the Orange.
Second penalty, an intentional grounding and a holding, and you couldn't have asked for a worse start on 2 plays for Syracuse. 2nd and 28 from the 7-yard line. Holding was on Christopher Blake for the Orange. Schrader has 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, tight end in motion. Looking to the right is Schrader. He gets rid of it, spiking it into the turf as he was chased down by Virginia Tech. In on the pressure, Kelly Lawson for the Hokies. 3rd down and 28, and now you're expecting Syracuse to go deep.
Another half a second, Tyler, and that's 2 points on the scoreboard for Virginia Tech. Garrett Schrader in the back of his own end zone. I don't know if it's safe to say, has the crowd gotten to Syracuse early on? It certainly appears like it.
Virginia Tech's defense dancing and fired up. 2 receivers to either side. Expect a 4 verts from Madden here. Schrader claps his hands, takes a snap. He's going to take off with it himself. He gets to the 15-yard line before being clobbered by a couple of Hokies. In on the stop, Alan Tisdale. It's 4th and forever that will see the punter, Jack Stonehouse, the redshirt sophomore out of Camarillo, California, make his first appearance tonight.
And we're going to see Garrett Schrader do that throughout the night. Move the ball with his legs, but in a 3rd and 28 situation, not much you can get done there. And interesting, TK, we're seeing 2 punt returners for the first time since the 2nd game of the season for Virginia Tech.
Typical punt returner, Tucker Holloway. He wears number 11. Stonehouse punts it away. It's a beautiful spiraling punt over to the 40-yard line. Holloway takes it, and he takes off towards the 50. It looked like he had a bit of space, but instead he'll gain just around 8 or 9. Virginia Tech sets up at their own 49-yard line.
Yeah, that's a great start for Virginia Tech. Obviously, I mentioned the 3 and out. They have gotten that. Not only do you get the 3 and out, minus 11 yards offensively on the first possession for Syracuse, and offensively for Virginia Tech, they get the ball, yes, in their own territory, but essentially at midfield. Sets up beautifully for Virginia Tech in this situation.
1st and 10 at the 49 for Kyron Drones and company, led by offensive coordinator Tyler Bowen, the former Jacksonville Jaguar assistant. Drones takes a snap. He's looking long in the first play, looking for Felton, and just overthrows him. Lands on the O of Hokies in the end zone. Virginia Tech heading towards their student section on the north side.
Yeah, and I like the call there, too. You know, take a shot on the first play. You have the momentum. Yes, I think some people will say, you know, why do you throw it deep on the first play of the game? But, you know, that has worked in recent weeks, and a nice play call there just didn't work out.
3 to the right side, 2nd and 10, 13:43 in the first quarter. Drones now hands it off to Tootin. No, it's a quarterback keeper. My apologies. Into enemy territory. Gain of 5 on the play. Will be 3rd and medium. And on the stop, Caleb Okachukwu, the redshirt senior from not too far from here in Washington, D.C.
Well, now if you're Virginia Tech, you got to find a way to move the sticks here. Keep the momentum and put yourself in a position to strike.
2 receivers to either side of Kyron Drones. Tight end in motion. The handoff will go to Bashal Tootin. He cuts to the outside. He's got a 1st down and more at the 30-yard line before being clipped out of bounds by Elijah Clark. 1st down, Hokies, and this is exactly the start you want for Virginia Tech.
No doubt about it. Bashal Tootin showing off the wheels on the outside, right around the 30-yard line. Virginia Tech already knocking on the door in field goal range. Be a 48-yarder, but seeking more for sure.
31-yard line for the Hokies. Drones, it's a flea flicker. It went over to the tight end, and no, that's Jalen Lane who passed it over and incomplete. So it's 2nd down and 10. It looks like Tootin was the intended receiver.
That is the 3rd time in the past 4 games that Virginia Tech has attempted a backwards pass in this situation. And just didn't work out.
2nd down and 10, ball in the 31. Drones takes the snap. He'll keep it and roll out to the right side. It's a dump down over to Felton, who's lit up by Jason Simmons Jr., the senior for Syracuse. It will bring up 3rd down and 8. Gain of 2 on the play. Would be a 46-yarder from here. Worth mentioning the kicker, John Love, his career long, just 41.
Yes, and he has missed multiple times from beyond 46 throughout the year, including a 48-yarder against Wake Forest.
Ball spotted at the 29, 3rd down and 8. Lane is in motion. Drones, the pitch over to Jalen Lane on the jet sweep. He gets to around the 26-yard line before being stopped there for a gain of 3 on the play. 4th down and 5 on the 26. And it looks like it's Peter Moore coming onto the field. No, excuse me, my apologies. Peter Moore's the holder, John Love the kicker. Again, my apologies on that.
John Love, this would be a 43-yard attempt.
Would be a new career long for John Love, the redshirt freshman from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Missed against Rutgers and Wake Forest this year, but is 10 for 12. To put the Hokies on the board, the kick is up. It looks good, and it's through. How about that? A new career long for the kicker, John Love, and the Hokies draw first blood. Skipper fires 3-0. Hokies at the 11:22 mark of the first quarter. Well, we've had an exciting start to this Thursday night college football game here on 3304 Sports. 3-0 Hokies. Tyler Katz and Carter Hill on the call. We'll be right back after this on 3304 Sports College Football. We're back here from Lane Stadium on 3304 Sports. Wearing a new jersey number 38, Kyle Lowe, the kickoff specialist for Virginia Tech, puts the ball on the tee. And we'll see if Syracuse can have any better fortune on this drive. It was about as disastrous as it could have been, barring a safety for Syracuse on their opening drive.
Yeah, nice start for Virginia Tech. And, you know, if you're the Hokies here, you want to, I continue to use the word momentum, but you want to keep that going and get another stop. And, you know, makes it feel like Syracuse can't get anything done offensively.
Toe meets leather again, and it's another kickoff for, touchback, excuse me, for Virginia Tech. Garrett Schrader and company set up at the 25-yard line, a place they did not spend a lot of time on last time.
No, not at all. Nearly sacked on play number 1, the intentional grounding, then the holding call. At one point, they reached their own 7-yard line.
Well, it is worth mentioning that Dino Babers, 8th-year head coach for Syracuse, has been struggling to find the offense as Schrader has 2 on either side. A penalty flag comes in, and it looks like a false start, dead ball foul on Syracuse. That will be their 3rd penalty tonight.
And you know, it's a little too early to say this, but I think it's fair almost 4 minutes into the game. Syracuse just doesn't look ready to play, at least offensively.
I would agree. Now, Syracuse has struggled to find their identity offensively. 9 different players have a receiving touchdown this year.
Of course, Damian Alford, and then you utilize some other guys like even LaQuinn Allen in the backfield as well.
Schrader takes a snap. He'll hand it off to LaQuinn Allen, but he runs into a brick wall, torn down by Kelly Lawson for the Hokies. It's a loss on the play. Syracuse, I mean, to me, Carter, it just seems like they can't solve this Rubik's Cube.
No, and Kelly Lawson, Syracuse's offensive front is probably one of the strengths of their team. Kelly Lawson got right in there and made the stop.
5 wide for Syracuse on 2nd down and 16. Schrader looking right, has a man wide open who's tripped up on the play for Syracuse, the tight end, Dan Viari.
First catch of the year, I believe, for Villari as well. Or excuse me, 13th catch of the year for Villari as well. Starting tight end for Syracuse.
3rd down and 8 on the 27. Decent pass to Viari. Schrader has 3 receivers to his left, nobody to his right. Schrader looking left and going deep. Dorian Strong in coverage. A lot of contact on an overthrow. Syracuse was looking for a flag but will not get it. And it welcomes back Mr. Jack Stonehouse to the field. The punter for Syracuse has a long history of punters in his family. His dad, John, punted at USC, and for the New York Giants, both his cousin and uncle, collegiate punters as well.
Yes, and 2nd time on the field today. Schrader was looking for Amari Hatcher, and Dorian Strong said not so fast. This time he gets the best of Schrader in the orange.
Tucker Holloway, the lone man back, so no 2-man look like we saw last time. Stonehouse boots it away. Another beautiful spiraling punt. Fair catch is waved at the 31, so slightly worse field position for Virginia Tech this drive. However, still a really good spot for Virginia Tech to set up for their 2nd drive. 3-0 Hokies lead at the 10:19 mark of the first quarter. You're listening to Thursday Night College Football on 3304 Sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, ready?
Yep.
We welcome you back here to Lane Stadium on 3304 Sports. Thursday night football, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, former Big East rivals. Well, Carter, let's take a look at some stats so far today. Kyron Drones, only 2 passing attempts, has only completed 1 for 2 yards. Garrett Schrader, 1 for 3 for 8 yards, but penalties. 3 penalties already for Syracuse. And for 12 yards doesn't seem like a lot, but it starts to add up when you get backed up to your own 7-yard line.
Oh, no doubt about it. Oh, the penalties have been the biggest issue. I mean, you have the intentional grounding call, then the holding call, and then you come out of a timeout, a media timeout, and you have a false start before you can even snap the football on the drive. It's just not a recipe for success, and I think it's safe to say Dino Babers and company cannot be happy on that orange sideline.
Well, the defense having to try to stop Virginia Tech. They did not do a great job the last 2 games of stopping offenses. 41 points allowed to Florida State and 40 to North Carolina, both road games as well. Well, we're ready to play here at Lane Stadium, Worsham Field. For Kyron Drones, he has 3 receivers over to his left side, 1 to the right. Man in motion now. It's Bashal Tootin, but Drones looking deep once again. The target is way behind the ball. It looks like it's Felton again, the intended receiver. Second time he has overthrown Felton. Jason Simmons Jr. on the coverage for Syracuse. That one had a chance to be intercepted as Simmons was well out in front of Felton.
2 deep shots to the same guy to start both drives. Tyler Bowen looking for the home run tonight against the Orange.
He got it last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, with Jalen Lane, a 75-yard touchdown reception. It's a handoff this time to Bashal Tootin. He gets to the 40-yard line before being pushed and tripped up. In on the stop for Syracuse seemed to be Braylon Ingram, the Fort Lauderdale, Florida native and transfer from Alabama.
Oh, how about that?
You know I had to mention it.
You know, Fort Lauderdale, what are your thoughts? Good place?
Good place.
Good place.
First down, Hokies on the Bashal Tootin rush. He's looked really good so far today. Arguably the best player we've seen on the field from an offensive standpoint. Kelly Lawson stands out defensively for Virginia Tech. 2 receivers to to Drones' right. Drones takes a snap, rolls out right under pressure. He fires deep down the field looking for Jalen Lane. It's overthrown, and sprinting in from the side, Justin Barron, the junior, had a look at an interception but stands up and couldn't get there in time. It will be 2nd down and 10.
So do you remember a couple weeks ago when James Franklin, the Penn State head coach, was asked if he just ever chucked it deep? Maybe he did. Tyler Bowen coming out of the Penn State system. 3 balls thrown, if they were to be completed, would have been 30-plus yard completions.
3 deep shots, all of them overthrown. Drones this time hands it off. It's Tootin once again. He gets to the 50, breaks a tackle, but is dumped down by the cornerback, Isaiah Johnson, the transfer from Dartmouth.
Sets up a 3rd and manageable, probably about a 3rd and 2 for Virginia Tech. Yes, right at the 50.
Ball is at midfield. Drones has 3 receivers to his left side, twins over to the right. Drones looking right. He has a man, and it's Dwayne Lofton with his first reception since the Rutgers game.
Yeah, we've seen DeJuan Lofton get an opportunity on the field offensively recently.
First down for Virginia Tech on the completed pass. It sets up 1st and 10 on the 38-yard line on the 3rd and short. Drones takes a snap, hands it off to Tootin once more. He gets to the 25, now at the 30 before being tripped up, and my apologies, that's Malachi Thomas on the carry.
Well, I think you're going to see Malachi Thomas become much more a part of the offense for Virginia Tech as well. Bashal Tootin is very explosive, but with Malachi Thomas, who, by the way, last time these 2 teams met, 3 touchdowns for the Hokies. If he can get that involved in the run game, Virginia Tech is going to be in a really good spot the rest of the year.
First down for the Hokies. They set up at the Syracuse 27-yard line. Isaiah Johnson and Miles Farmer had the stop for Syracuse on the previous play. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right for Virginia Tech. Under 8 to go. Drones was looking for a pitch, couldn't find it. Instead, he takes it himself to the 22. It looked like Drones wanted to pitch it to Jalen Lane, the receiver in motion, Lane didn't make eye contact, so Drones said, I'll do it myself.
Yeah,
Amon Greenwood on the stop.
And Kyron Drones. The good thing is, if you're a Virginia Tech fan, the Hokies have set that up to work because they use that pitch play so much. So now you have to, if you bite, if you're Syracuse, you're in trouble.
2nd down and 5 on the 22. Drones takes a snap. Handoff to Malachi Thomas. He's stuffed almost immediately. A host of Orange tacklers there. And on the stop for the Syracuse Orange, Braylon Ingram out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School, went through Alabama before ending up at Syracuse in upstate New York.
Now you see Bayshal Tootin back in the game. 3rd and 5 for the Hokies. A touchdown would be huge here if you're Virginia Tech.
3-0 Virginia Tech, 6:45 to go in the opening quarter on Thursday night from Lane Stadium. Kyron Drones, the quarterback, has twins to the left side, a single receiver to the right. Drones takes a snap, hands off to Tootin, who finds a hole, gets the first down to the 18, maybe 17-yard line, and they'll spot the ball, it looks like, at the 16.5. First down, Hokies.
Bayshal Tootin is such a physical back in the backfield for Virginia Tech, and Tech's able to move the sticks once again, and again, the end zone would be huge here for Tech.
The transfer from North Carolina A&T, Bayshal Tootin. Man in motion with 2 receivers on either side. Drones, a pitch play to Malachi Thomas. Thomas with the throw. Felton in the end zone. Touchdown on the flea flicker. Hokies go up 9-0.
Wow. Second time today that Virginia Tech has ran a backwards pass. This time it goes for a touchdown. Syracuse completely bit on the defensive side of the ball, and Felton was wide open. As wide open probably as you can get at that part of the field.
Daquan Felton receives the pass. First career passing touchdown for Malachi Thomas.
The Syracuse effect for the Hartwell, Georgia native.
On to kick the extra point. John Love has been perfect on extra points so far this year. He will make his 20th. It's 10-0 Virginia Tech at the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. And if you're a Virginia Tech fan, this game is as perfect as you could have wanted. For Syracuse, you're burying your head in your hands saying, what are we doing?
Well, if you're Tyler Bowen, and if you're a Virginia Tech fan, Tyler Bowen has gotten a lot of you-know-what throughout the year so far, and the fan base has not been so kind to Mr. Bowen over there at the Merriman Center, but you have got to give him a ton of credit. TK, we were just talking about Virginia Tech has set up the play where Drones fakes the pitch and rolls to his right and plows forward for 5 or 10 yards. They've set up that play to work because they have been able to pitch the ball so much. Well, now they pitched the ball and threw it for a touchdown. Tyler Bowen has, it seems like this has been building up for weeks. This play has probably been in their playbook probably since the Purdue-Rutgers game, and it works to perfection here.
We'll take a short break. 10-0 Hokies at the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. It's a party here on a Thursday night in Blacksburg. We'll be back on 3304 Sports.
Yeah, sure.
We'll call it the Blacksburg special, the Philly special, working for Tyler Bowen's offense here for Virginia Tech. And Brent Pry has got to be one happy man. Tyler Katz joined alongside Carter Hill for Thursday night football.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, TK, this is an incredible start for Virginia Tech. We talked about it during the break, and we talked about it before we went to break, but Tyler Bowen set up that play beautifully with how often the Hokies have pitched the ball off to the right, have run it with Drones on a similar play, and Felton was wide open, and if you're Syracuse, you have got to respond. Have not picked up a first down yet. Virginia Tech has been clamoring defensively and have gone right down the field twice on the offensive side of the ball.
Syracuse has 3 total yards. Lowe sends it over to the end zone, and this time it's being taken out. The return man is DeMarcus Adams. He gets to the 23-yard line before being tripped up. And on the stop for Virginia Tech, Dante Lovett, the true freshman out of Crofton, Maryland.
And that was a big-time tackle for Dante Lovett because I don't think he scores, but had another 15, 20 yards in front of him if that tackle's not made, and now Syracuse starts with inside, I should say, their own 25.
Just the 4th career tackle for Dante Lovett. 1st and 10 at the 24. Schrader, it's a handoff to the running back, LaQuint Allen, who gains a couple of yards before being taken down. In on the stop for Virginia Tech, Alan Tisdale. So a gain on the play. LaQuinn Allen finally gets some positive yards. Gain of about 3, make it 4. Second down and 6 from the 24. Garrett Schrader has running backs to either side of him. He just takes it to neither. Look over the middle. Pass is tipped and incomplete. Tipped by Alan Tisdale. Second straight play where Tisdale's been in on the coverage.
Was trying to find Damian Alford the middle of the field, and he had him too. If Alan Tisdale doesn't tip the ball out of the air, that's a completion for probably 20 yards for the Orange, and now they face another 3rd and 6.
Second pass breakup for Tisdale, 3rd and 6 on the 28. A key play, as they call it in Blacksburg. Schrader can't get the center to snap the ball. He's got 13 seconds. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Schrader sends a man in motion. The clap again. Look to the left side for Schrader. He fires. Caught at the 30-yard line before being ripped down by Kelly Lawson. That's 4th down for Syracuse.
And LaQuinn Allen out of the backfield. We mentioned it early on. Yes, he can run the football, but they use him in the passing game as well. And there was an opportunity there, and what a hit on the defensive side of the ball by the combination of Kelly Lawson and Veldarius Payne once again. Sets up a 4th down, and still to this point, TK, Syracuse has not picked up a 1st down.
4th down and 3 at the 31, and we've been saying his name a lot, the Missouri transfer, the punter, Jack Stonehouse. Back deep for Virginia Tech, Tucker Holloway, as always. It's a well punt. Holloway backs up to the 15-yard line, now cuts to the left side. He's got a bit of space. He's at the 25-30, just 2 men to beat. At the 50, cuts to the right to the 40. Holloway gets to the 30 before being tripped up, and mama, there goes that man again.
Tucker Holloway has been one of the better punt returners Virginia Tech has seen, and probably the best punt returner Virginia Tech has seen since Greg Stroman. Back from 2014 to 17, he's a broken tackle away from scoring on that play. And if there's more men towards the near sideline of the field for Virginia Tech, Tucker Holloway is taking that to the house and taking it the distance for Virginia Tech. Obviously had the one against Georgia Tech last year, a couple big-time punt returns so far this season. And the Hokies, they're going to set up at the Syracuse 28-yard line. If they get in the end zone here, sure, the game's not over. Of course not, but all of a sudden, if you're Syracuse, you're heading into the 2nd quarter now, trailing 17-0 on the road, and it seems like the guy banged up is the punter, Jack Stonehouse.
Yeah, on the 30-yard line, 5 trainers now, including a couple of Virginia Tech athletic trainers, are attending to the punter, Jack Stonehouse. And obviously, you never want to see someone go down like that. And this is just a tough scene for Syracuse. Stonehouse being attended to. We're going to step aside while the athletic trainers attend to Stonehouse here on 3304 Sports, 10-0 Virginia Tech.
House.
Ready?
Yep.
Well, Jack Stonehouse had the tackle for Syracuse as we welcome you back here on 3304 Sports. He is not putting any weight on his kicking leg, being carried off the sideline. Should Syracuse need to punt again, they would go with the true sophomore, Max von Marburg. Virginia Tech now sets up at the Syracuse 29-yard line. Kyron Drones has 2 receivers to either side. Drones, it's a fake play yet again. The pitch goes over, and a gain to the 20-yard line before being tripped up for Virginia Tech. It was ex-Turner Bradshaw.
True freshman for Virginia Tech. They ran the reverse like that a couple weeks ago against the Pitt Panthers. They do it here. They lost 10 against Pitt a couple weeks ago. And in this situation, even though it seemed like he picked up 30 because he went all the way back towards midfield, they get 9 and it's 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1 on the 20-yard line. Drones has options to work with. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Man in motion is Jalen Lane. He cuts to the right side. Handoff to Bashal Tootin. He gets to the 15 but runs into 2 Syracuse tacklers. And on the stop for the Orange, Jason Simmons Jr., the senior from Lancaster, Texas.
Well, Kyron Drones is orchestrating another dynamic drive, and he hasn't even thrown the ball on this possession so far. It's been all the guys out of the backfield. A lot of pre-snap eye candy, again, for Virginia Tech, and that has certainly helped out the Hokies, I think, offensively. A lot of confusion on the Syracuse side of things on the defensive side of the ball.
1st and 10, Hokies at the Syracuse 15. 2 receivers to the right and 1 to the left. Now Jalen Lane in motion again. Drones looking for Lane, has him at the 15, but he's tackled almost immediately at the 14-yard line for a minimal gain. In on the stop for Syracuse, number 30, Chase Simmons, it appeared to be. Miles Farmer, my apologies, on the stop for the Orange. 2nd down and 9 on the 14-yard line. Drones takes a snap. It's another handoff to Tootin. He cuts to the outside before being pushed out of bounds once more.
Well, this would be a big win for Syracuse on the defensive side of the ball if they're able to hold the Hokies to 3 points. Keeps you in the ball game, but if you're Virginia Tech, you want to go ahead and step on their throats and make it a 17-point game for sure.
It's Chase Simmons again on the stop. 3rd down and 9 from the 14. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for Virginia Tech. Kyron Drones looks to take the ball, but looks back over to the sideline, getting signals from Tyler Bowen's crew in the multiple colored shirts. 4 seconds to snap the ball, now down to 2. Drones finally takes it, looking towards the right side. He fires, it's nearly intercepted, but dropped. On the coverage for Syracuse was number 3, Isaiah Johnson. It will bring on the field goal unit. Not quite what you wanted after the big return by Tucker Holloway. Hokies will take the points regardless.
Well, you definitely wanted 7 with that starting field position, but after that, I think Virginia Tech's just going to be happy to get the 3 because that ball should have been picked off defensively.
John Love back on to kick. He made a 43-yarder earlier. This one will be from 32. Holder is Peter Moore, the punter, who has not come on for his punting duties yet. Kick is up from John Love. It's looking good, and it is good. It went towards the right upright, but Skipper fires, and it's 13-0 Virginia Tech at the 1:57 mark of the first quarter. We'll keep it here with you on 3304 Sports prior to the next kickoff by Kyle Lowe, the kickoff specialist for Virginia Tech. Well, Carter, prior to the next kickoff, 13-0 Virginia Tech on 3 different scoring plays. Syracuse might be a little apprehensive to punt the ball. Their punter, Jack Stonehouse, out of the game, having to go with the backup who maybe doesn't have as much experience. But what is the thinking for Dino Baber's squad right now?
Well, obviously, you don't want to get put in that situation, but if you're still facing a 4th and whatever in your own territory at this point in the game, you're going to have to punt the football. So, hopefully if you're a Syracuse fan, you're comfortable with your backup guy. But ideally for the Orange, they're going to start moving the football, which they haven't done so far today, still without a first down. So Virginia Tech trying to keep them pinned back and force that backup punter to come into the ball game for the Orange.
The good news for the Orange, Max von Marburg, who's the backup punter, was their starting punter last year before the transfer from Missouri and Stonehouse came in. Lowe sends it through the end zone for a touchback. I know he hasn't come into the game yet, but worth mentioning, an Australian guy, von Marburg, for the Orange is the new punter.
Of course. I think around the ACC, I want to say there's 6 Australian punters. It's definitely the new norm in college football.
Hokies had one not too long ago with Oscar Bradburn. But it will be Garrett Schrader and the Syracuse Orange still looking for their first down. About 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Schrader claps his hands. It's a handoff to LaQuint Allen. He goes nowhere. Taken down by Keonta Jenkins, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida.
We talked about it in the open, TK, that Syracuse just doesn't have the skill position talent, and so far they haven't utilized any of their weapons offensively. It's been just Garrett Schrader, and even the offensive line, which was advertised well, has not held up against Virginia Tech's front. 2nd
and 11. Schrader takes the snap, looking left. No one was there. Sprinting in was Josh Fuga. My apologies, make that Nasir Peoples. Tried to get the interception but couldn't get there. 3rd down and 11 from the Syracuse 24. We'll see what offensive coordinator Jackson Beck draws up.
Seems like some miscommunication between Schrader and Amari Hatcher.
Crowd is loud. Schrader looking left to the lone receiver over there. Under pressure, he has to take it himself, but he's ripped down to the turf. This time it's Josh Fuga, the redshirt senior from Woodbridge, Virginia, in on the sack. 2nd time Schrader has gone down, and Syracuse will go a full quarter of play without a first down.
Eerily similar to Virginia Tech down in Tallahassee against Florida State 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, make that.
So it brings in the Australian punter, Max von Marburg, the sophomore from New South Wales, Australia. His town name, Wagga Wagga. Tucker Holloway back deep to receive the punt from von Marburg. He takes a snap, it's low, and the punt is end over end. You could tell he was not expecting to come into this game, but he gets a nice roll down to the 24-yard line. So von Marburg, it didn't look like a great punt at first, but it rolled into a decent position.
Worst starting field position of the day for Virginia Tech, so von Marburg does his job, and the Hokies taking over at their own 25. Probably have a play or two before the quarter comes to a close on the offensive side of the ball.
It brings back out Kyron Drones. He's looked so good so far today. Doesn't have a passing touchdown, but one of his running backs, Malachi Thomas, does. 30 seconds left in the first quarter as the Hokies start the drive from the 25. Drones claps the hands. It's a pitch over towards the left side. This time it's Tootin. He cuts to the right side towards the first down marker at the 35. The refs look like they're marking him short of the first down. No, now they're moving the chains. First down, Hokies.
And unfortunately for Virginia Tech, it looks like Bayshall Tootin is shaken up on the play, which would be disastrous for the Hokies. Of course, you have Malachi Thomas, who you mentioned early on, but Bayshall Tootin's a difference maker.
Tootin goes down at around the 37-yard line, trying to get out of bounds. Couldn't quite get there. And athletic trainers will surround Bayshall Tootin. It would be tough to see a second player go down tonight. Already an injury to Syracuse's Jack Stonehouse, their punter. Now the Hokies star running back Bayshall Tootin shaken up. Hokies have had to deal with injuries all year, including transfer star wide receiver Ali Jennings, just a couple games into the season.
Yeah, that first drive of the Purdue game, essentially only having played one game this season. It does look like Tootin is okay. He's walking fine down on the sideline, which is good news, of course, for Virginia Tech. And Hokies, they don't even have to snap the ball.
1 second left in the first quarter. It will tick all the way down, and about as good of a first quarter as you could ask for Virginia Tech. Leading 13-0 at the end of the first quarter. Syracuse just 6 total offensive yards and no first downs to speak of. We'll step aside for the end of the first quarter and be back for the second. Carter Hill, Tyler Katz with you on 3304 Sports, Thursday night college football. Back here on Hollow Week from the Tear Dome, Lane Stadium, Tyler Katz joined alongside Carter Hill. Tech is driving with 1 first down so far on just their first set of downs on this drive. 1st and 10, the Syracuse 35. Kyron Drones and company set up. Syracuse's defense has had little to no answers for this Virginia Tech offense. Man in motion as Drones takes a snap. It's a handoff straight up the middle, but quickly stopped due to forward progress was Malachi Thomas. And on the stop for the Orange was number 2 in Marlowe Wax Jr. My apologies.
Interesting to note as well, Bayshall Tootin not back in the game. We'll monitor that. Going down on the sideline just before the end of the quarter.
Tight end Daquan Wright goes out wide. 2 receivers to either side. Now a man in motion for Kyron Drones. Takes a snap quickly under pressure. Rolls out to the right side. Looking to throw and will chuck it out of bounds. Jalen Lane was in the area, but he was heavily guarded by the safety, Jason Simmons Jr.
Smart play by Kyron Drones. Don't want to force anything, up 13. 3rd and 9, though. This is the best situation Syracuse's defense has been in all night long.
3rd down and 9 from the 36-yard line. Peter Moore, the punter, has not had to come out so far today. 2 receivers to either side. Drones thought he got a jump from Syracuse. Instead, he goes long. It is nearly a completion down the field for Virginia Tech. Was looking for Aiden Green. And a flag does come in, maybe a late penalty And there it is. I thought I saw a false
Yeah.
start on Syracuse. Kyron Drones knew he had the free play. The flag didn't come in till after Drones had thrown the ball, however.
Which I think is what Syracuse is a little upset about with Dino Babers barking on the sideline. Yeah, Kyron clearly thought he had a free play. He threw it into harm's way, but
well,
works
I
out.
saw it from up here on level 7 of lane. That was from our perspective, an obvious call for me.
And if the Hokies convert, that's another big penalty for Syracuse.
3rd and 4 from the 41. It's the 4th penalty on the Orange tonight. 3 receivers to the right. Drones looking right and has his man. It's Jalen Lane, his first reception of the night. First down, Virginia Tech. And you're exactly right, Carter. Another costly penalty for Syracuse.
No doubt about it. And to Virginia Tech's credit, just taking advantage of Syracuse's mistakes. That's what good teams do.
Substitution chance for Syracuse. Ball not made ready for play yet, so having to watch that play clock tick down as Kyron Drones with 2 receivers to either side. 1st and 10 from the Virginia Tech 46-yard line. Umpire finally moves out of the way, man in motion, and it's a pitch play. No, Drones keeps it himself with space. He's at the 40, 30, needs to beat 2. He slides down at the 15-yard line. Kyron Drones showing off the legs and the speed, and it's the safety, the last line of defense for the Orange, Jason Simmons Jr.
Just like that, Virginia Tech knocking on the door again. How about that for Virginia Tech?
Finding different ways. 5 wide for Virginia Tech, 4 on the left side, 1 to the right. Odd formation for Tech. Drones looking left, a lot of contact, end zone, incomplete. And the Virginia Tech faithful wanted a flag, couldn't get it.
A little surprised there wasn't, but after looking at it on the replay, the official on the far side threw his hat, which means that Daquan Felton was out of bounds. So if it was caught, it's not going to count as a touchdown, but I think Felton was arguing he was pushed out of bounds on that play.
Isaiah Johnson in on the coverage for Syracuse. 2nd down and 10, well within field goal range at the 16-yard line. Lane in motion again. He's been getting his cardio workout in, going from left to right. Drones working towards the south end zone. Lane in motion again. Drones under pressure, rolls to the right side. Flag comes in from the backfield as Drones is mobbed at the 16-yard line for no gain on the play, and we'll see what this penalty marker is from our head referee tonight, Riley Johnson.
Probably in the holding zone, would be my guess.
And it is against Virginia Tech. Johnny Garrett, the redshirt freshman from Mississippi. It'll back the Hokies up, but it's still 2nd down, so you don't have to face that 3rd and 10. Instead, it's 2nd and 20, maybe opens up the playbook a little more.
It is a costly penalty for Virginia Tech, but yeah, to your point, Tyler, maybe they're more likely to throw the ball now in field goal range. Be a 43-yard attempt once again, which John Love has already connected on today.
3 receivers to Drones' right, 1 to his left. Bashal Tootin back in the game in motion. Instead, it's a check down to Jalen Lane. He's fighting, breaking a few tackles. He gets to around the 20-yard line. It's still 3rd and long, 3rd and around 14.
And there is another injured man for Virginia
and it's
Tech.
Jalen Lane.
Oh.
Jalen Lane seems to be holding his hand or fingers. He's walking off the field, but there's another Hokie down at the 25-yard line inside the ACC football logo. And right now we cannot ID, and it is Daquan Wright, the tight end for Virginia Tech. So both costly injuries if they end up being serious injuries. Daquan Wright, the tight end, and Jalen Lane both shaken up on the play. Well, we'll step aside while the athletic training staff attends to the injured Hokies. 13-0, 12:31 in the 2nd quarter here on 3304 Sports. We welcome you back here to Thursday night football, college football that is, on 3304 Sports. Tyler Katz joined alongside Carter Hill. Not a great sight for Virginia Tech. Their number 1 tight end, Daquan Wright, carted off the field.
And now it's up to the likes of Benji Gosnell, Harrison St. Germain, 2 redshirt freshmen for Virginia Tech to fill that position with, of course, no Nick Gallo. And 3rd and 13 now for Tech. They'll be tested early on in the drive.
Gosnell listed as the number 2, and he is in the game to Kyron Drone's right side, just waiting for ESPN to come back from commercial break before we get underway. Bashal Tootin lines up to Drone's right, 2 receivers to either side, 3rd and 13 on the Syracuse 19-yard line on the right hash. Drones barking orders, now takes the snap. He wants to go end zone. He's looking, but instead takes it himself. Has to get through the defensive line, but cannot. In on the stop, Justin Barron for the Syracuse Orange. It will bring up 4th down and long, and we'll see John Love come out for his 3rd field goal attempt today.
John Love was 3 for 4 against Wake Forest 2 weeks ago, and he's been relied upon heavily today. Virginia Tech has missed some opportunities knocking on the door of the red zone.
Love has made it from 32 and 43. This one, the midpoint, a 38-yard field goal. Straight down the middle look. The kick is up from Love. It's up straight down the middle. Perfect kick from John Love. So 3 for 3 on field goals. Gives the Hokies a 16-0 lead. Skipper fires. And the Hokies take a commanding lead. Worth noting for Syracuse, it is still a 2-score game, with it being 16-0, but I don't think Dino Babers is thinking about that right now. Instead, what I think Syracuse is talking about is how do we get a single first down?
Yeah, I mentioned it before we went to break a minute ago, TK, that it's so eerily similar to the Florida State game in Tallahassee, Florida, for the Virginia Tech Hokies a couple weeks ago. They were trailing 22-0 before they picked up a first down in the second quarter. Now, to Tech's credit, they completely turned that game around in the second period of play. For Syracuse, obviously you gotta pick up a first down to be able to eventually get there. But, you know, you're trailing 16-0. I will say this. I do want to go off on a little bit of a tangent. Syracuse, yes, they're trailing 16-0. They have looked awful offensively. But to the Orange's credit, even though the defense has given up some big plays, obviously the trick play, the Malachi Thomas to Daquan Felton, I should say, throw, they have done their job in the red zone. Syracuse came into this game ranked 8th nationally in red zone defense, and they've shown why here tonight. Obviously, the Tucker Holloway punt return put Virginia Tech in a good situation with good field position, and you know, Syracuse was able to hold them to a field goal from there. So, yeah, 16-0. It's been all Virginia Tech, and Syracuse looks like they have no pulse whatsoever offensively. But with that being said, the red zone defense has kept them in the game.
Let's take a look at some key stats. And for Kyron Drones, not the stat line he would have wanted, maybe the weak point for Virginia Tech, 5 for 11 passing. But a lot of those are deep shots that didn't work out. So for Kyron Drones, you can't get too down on yourself, 5 for 11, but a lot of those deep shots. Garrett Schrader, 2 for 6 for just 11 yards, has been sacked twice. Total yards, not great for Syracuse, 6. Virginia Tech is outdoing that by over 150 yards, 166 total yards for the Hokies. And where the difference really stands out is in the rushing yards category. Syracuse -5 rushing yards, most of that due to a -7-yard day from the quarterback Garrett Schrader. LaQuint Allen, who's been a top running back for Syracuse, just has 2 at the 11:34 mark of the second quarter. Meanwhile, Bashal Tootin, 54 yards, Kyron Drones, 45, and Malachi Thomas with 12.
I want to go back to your stat about Garrett Schrader in the negative column. That certainly pops off the screen when you look at Hokiesports.com, and not exactly for the right reasons. It goes back to Syracuse has got to do their job offensively to get back in this game. There is plenty of time left. And yes, Syracuse's offense has really struggled the last few weeks. We touched on that. But you still have one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. You got to make something happen.
So for Virginia Tech, the kickoff unit comes back in again, able to come away with 3 points at the 11:34 mark of the first half in the second quarter. And it's Kyle Lowe ready to kick it once more. DeMarcus Adams back deep to receive. He holds his arms out as this ball skips off the 10-yard line through the end zone for a touchback. Garrett Schrader in familiar territory at the 25. And Syracuse, that's kind of been their homeland, the 25-yard line or less. They haven't been able to get much past that.
Yeah, not a fun position to be in at all at your own 25. And I don't think the Orange have crossed the 30-yard line today in their own territory so far.
They have gotten to the 31 once today. Garrett Schrader claps his hands. He looks right, quickly under pressure, gets through it, and fires to a wide open man in Damian Alford, who comes out of bounds at around the 46-yard line. First time we've said Alford's name today, and he fights for the first Syracuse first down today.
Well, that's the ultimate announcer's jinx right there. He caught the ball right at the 30 and got to the 47. The Orange are set up.
So Garrett Schrader now has 3 receivers to his left side, 1 to the right from the left hash mark. 11 minutes to play in the quarter. It's a handoff. No, Schrader keeps it himself, gets to around the 50-yard line before being tackled. And on the stop for Virginia Tech was the man wearing the 25 this week for Virginia Tech in Cole Nelson. Schrader takes a snap on second down. He hands it off to LaQuint Allen, who breaks a tackle, gets to around the Virginia Tech 47-yard line. And a decent gain will bring up third down and another key play for the Hokies.
Huge third down in this game, Tyler.
3rd and 4 from the Virginia Tech 47. Schrader, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. He's looking right side, under pressure, swallowed up in the backfield. And it's Antoine Powell-Ryland, the transfer from the Florida Gators, ripping down Garrett Schrader.
The sacks king for this Virginia Tech team. Antoine Powell-Ryland getting at it once again. We mentioned that Syracuse is one of the worst teams in the ACC in giving up the sack, and that's proven here once again tonight.
8th sack of the season for Antoine Powell-Ryland. 4th and 13, we'll see Max von Marburg come back out for the Syracuse Orange. He takes it, and it's a better punt than his first one. A spiraling kick sends Tucker Holloway back to the 7-yard line where he calls for the fair catch. Worst starting field position of the day for Virginia Tech, but you'll certainly take it compared to what Antoine Powell-Ryland just did in stopping Syracuse after their first down of the game.
No doubt, no doubt. First down of the game for Syracuse. They get to right around midfield, but they stall there. Credit to the Hokies defense once again. And the one thing I will say, Virginia Tech has tried for the deep ball, but they've been able to move the ball methodically, and I expect no less with their back at their own end zone.
1st and 10 at the 7 for Kyron Drones and company. Bunch formation for Virginia Tech. A couple receivers stacked to the left. Man in motion is Jalen Lane. It's a handoff for Virginia Tech. Bashal Tootin is stuffed at the 6-yard line for a loss of 1. 2nd and 11 from the 6. And on the stop, force the Syracuse Orange make that number 4 in Caleb Okechukwu. Or Chukwu, excuse me.
Good to see Bashal Tootin. We've seen him before back in the game for Virginia Tech.
It's ruled as no gain. 2nd down and 10 from the 7-yard line. Drones has 2 receivers to either side, calling out an audible. All maroon jerseys for the Hokies. Drones takes a snap, looks left. It's a check down that's spiked into the dirt, intended for Bashal Tootin. 3rd down and 10 from the 7. Syracuse today rocking their white pants and orange stripe down the side with navy blue accents. Orange numbers on white jerseys with orange accents. Orange helmets with a navy blue S block logo on the side with a white stripe down the seam.
And if you're Syracuse, this is a big spot in this ball game. Get a stop down here, get the ball back around midfield. Could be a huge boost to the Orange.
3rd and 10 from the 7. Hokies don't want to punt from their own end zone. Drones throws from the O, and Hokies another check down to Bashal Tootin. He cuts over, breaks a tackle, and gets to the 17-yard line. 1st down Hokies. And what a big pickup in the transfer portal Bashal Tootin was. He just earned that 1st down for this offense.
A perfect time to run a screenplay for Virginia Tech, and Bashal Tootin's the perfect one to run it with. Somebody who's so shifty in open field, can cut back inside, picks up 11 in the 1st down for Tech.
1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Man in motion is Jalen Lane yet again. He stops and turns around. Instead, Drones takes it himself up the middle, gets to the 25-yard line, will set up 2nd down and 2 or 3 depending on where the officials officially spot this ball, but 2nd and short for the Hokies.
Kyron Drones just doesn't really want to slide. Even when he does try, it looks a little bit awkward going down there, but to their credit, Syracuse able to make the stop, but Virginia Tech still moving the ball well.
I guess he didn't play baseball growing up. 2nd down and 4 is the official ruling from the 24-yard line, so marked him a yard shorter than what we thought. It's a handoff to Malachi Thomas. He has a bit of space, but taken down at the 35, pushes the pile a bit more to around the 38. In on the stop for the Syracuse Orange, Chase Simmons, the redshirt sophomore out of South Carolina.
I mean, this is looking easy for Virginia Tech, and no, they're not getting the big hitters, but with how methodical Tech has moved the ball, they've made them look like a JV team on the defensive side of the ball for Syracuse.
1st and 10, man in motion. It's Jalen Lane running a marathon every single play. Snap is taken. Drones looking long, targeting down the sideline. It's Felton yet again. Daquan Felton breaks the tackle. Touchdown Tech on a huge play to the end zone.
This is incredible, Mr. Katz. Exact same play Virginia Tech ran on their opening drive against Pitt. You had the play action fake, and trailing deep down the right sideline was Daquan Felton. It's a touchdown for the Hokies, and this is about to be a 23-0 ball game. How about that?
A 62-yard touchdown pass, Drones to Felton on a 1st and 10 from the Hokie 38. John Love on to attempt the extra point, seeking his 21st of the year, and this one is straight down the pipes. 23-0, Virginia Tech in front. Flags on the play, a few words and extracurriculars after the play. Syracuse, and excuse me for saying this, but just looks outclassed tonight.
Yeah, that's fair. I think the flag on the play was, I couldn't tell, but it seemed like somebody hit John Love late after the PAT.
There's a long discussion. There's a Syracuse Orangeman, and it is against the defense. Marlo Wax Jr., the junior from Baltimore, Maryland, was talking to the officials trying to plead his case, but a penalty enforced on the kickoff. 23-0. Tech leading their old Big East rivals in Syracuse in what could be a big win for them in the ACC standings. 7 minutes, 13 seconds remain in the second quarter. It's all Hokies here on a Thursday night in Blacksburg on 3304 Sports.
Yeah.
Back here from a party in Blacksburg. And as has become the saying, there was just a drone strike in Blacksburg. Kyron Drones goes 62 yards at Daquan Felton for the touchdown. 6-play, 93-yard drive in 2.5 minutes. And it brings out the kickoff specialist, Kyle Lowe.
Also looks like Damian Alford is headed to the locker room for Syracuse.
That would be a big loss for the Orange. It goes deep, calling for the touchback once more. Has been the case for all but one kickoff. Was DeMarcus Adams is the return specialist, returns punts and kickoffs. We have not seen him return a punt yet today because Virginia Tech has yet to punt. One thing of note, 7 minutes, 13 seconds to go in the first half. We have not seen a turnover as of yet.
Probably should have been with Kyron Drones. With
nearly
the ball that was
intercepted.
nearly picked off, but nonetheless, the Hokies take it.
First down and 10 from the 25 for the Syracuse Orange. 3 men to the left and 1 to the right for Garrett Schrader, the transfer from Mississippi State. He calls out orders to the offensive line. Schrader now claps the ball, takes it himself on a pitch play, lit up by Jaden McDonald, the Salem Spartan, from not too far down the road.
No, sir. And Jaden McDonald has really made a name for himself the last 2 weeks, stepping up and playing the majority of the snaps.
Second down and 7 from the 28 for the Syracuse Orange. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Schrader looking over the middle, has his man, and a huge hit laid down. Here come a few flags. Mose Phillips III, the true freshman, looks like he'll get called on a targeting.
Oh my gosh, Amari Hatcher was leveled. Mose Phillips we've been told that Mose Phillips is the hardest hitter on this Virginia Tech team, and That's why. I got to see the replay. That's going to be targeting, yeah.
So for Virginia Tech, be thankful that it's still the first half because Mose Phillips will be out for this game but able to return next week in a tough road game against Louisville. Had this been in the second half, he would have been suspended for the first half of next week's game. And also of note, Carter, for both these teams, they're going to have a long week to prepare for their next opponents, with this game being on a Thursday night. Virginia Tech has to travel to Louisville, Kentucky for the first time since the COVID season in 2020. For Syracuse, finally returning home for a Friday night game, so not too much of a break. They take on Boston College on the 3rd of November before taking on the Pitt Panthers at Yankee Stadium on November 11th.
I'm curious with this targeting review, TK. I got to see it again. First look, I think it's targeting. I only saw when the contact was made. It's one of those where you can argue if Mose Phillips didn't launch, maybe, he's fortunate and doesn't get flagged for it, but you can see why the flags were thrown. I mean, 3 flags came out on the play because you don't see hits like that in football anymore at the head level without a flag being thrown. So I'm curious to see what happens. My guess is on the look, it's going to be a targeting call, but I remember talking with some people before the season started, and they were saying Mose Phillips is the hardest hitter on the team, and they said it's bound to happen at some point this year. He gets a targeting foul. Well, this could be the moment.
I want to talk about something that stands out to me as particularly interesting. Virginia Tech, 8th in the country in passing defense, according to NCAA.com. 103rd in rushing defense. But you look at the stats, Syracuse in negative yardage in rushing, about 46 yards of passing offense, so kind of the reverse of what we've seen all season.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And it goes back to Syracuse hasn't been able to do anything offensively. 2 first downs now in the ball game, assuming, of course, this play will stand. Then it will because it was caught for a first down. That was the second first down of the game. Syracuse has not crossed midfield.
And it is a targeting against Mose Phillips. He's been disqualified for the remainder of the game.
And it hurts, too, for Virginia Tech. They haven't gotten healthier in the secondary, but, they've been playing a converted wide receiver, a true freshman like Mose Phillips. Virginia Tech's secondary has been beat up throughout the year, and now they're going to be without one of their heavy hitters the rest of the way. You feel for Mose Phillips. I don't think there's anything egregious with that, but, that's the rule.
But just a true freshman. I mean, this is a discipline opportunity for Mose Phillips to learn what you can and can't do. That may have flown in high school where officials may be a little bit more lax in the middle of the state in Tennessee, the native to Nashville, but at the college level, you're going to get flagged for that every single time.
Yes, and it goes back to when you hit a guy like that in college, in that area, the head or neck area, and you lean with the crown, which to me, he did. You're probably going to get flagged for targeting. So Mose Phillips is out of the game. Jalen Stroman will get some more reps. And Nazir Peoples, luckily for the Hokies, is back after suffering an injury against ODU. Played a little bit against Florida State, saw Morgan's wake, and now we've seen him quite a bit throughout the night tonight.
Umare Hatcher had the reception as well. We'll see if we see him out on the field or if he's still a little shaken up from that Mose Phillips hit. The penalty will take the ball into Virginia Tech territory for the first time tonight at the Virginia Tech 47, 1st and 10 for Syracuse. Twins to either side for the Syracuse Orange. Schrader takes a snap. It's a handoff to LaQuint Allen. He gains a couple of yards before being taken down. Antoine Powell-Ryland in on the stop for the Hokies.
Positive yardage for Syracuse. They had crossed midfield prior to that play, but now well into Virginia Tech territory at the 43-yard line.
2nd down and 6 on a gain of 4. Schrader claps his hands and over the middle, pass is caught on a great play for Syracuse to around the 28-yard line. And Jalen Stroman in on the stop. And on the catch, for Syracuse is Damian Alford, who we saw go to the locker room. He has since returned. And there's a shaken up Hokie on the play in Jalen Stroman. So Stroman now injured. He's another part of that secondary. You just lost Mose Phillips. And now coming down on a wrong area was Jalen Stroman. Clock, by the way, is at 6 minutes exactly. 23-0 Hokies but the Syracuse Orange driving, looking to put up their first points of the game.
Yeah, Syracuse threatening to score. And we just talked about the lack of depth at this point in Virginia Tech's secondary. No Mose Phillips the rest of the night. And now Jalen Stroman, though it looks like he is okay walking off on his own power. You certainly hope that he can come back in the game for Tech from, again, a depth standpoint. The Hokies just don't have a lot there at this point.
Well, not only is he walking off the field on his own power, but he popped up with a pep in his step when he got helped up by the training staff.
Yeah, and that's a good sign. You would think, unless it's a concussion thing, maybe it's a couple plays, he takes a breather and then maybe comes back in the game. But again, now you have Nazir Peoples and then Jalen Jones, the converted wide receiver who hasn't played a ton the last few weeks, is back in the ballgame.
It's first down and 10 from the Virginia Tech 28 for this Syracuse offense, trying to break that donut from the scoreboard. Schrader takes a snap. It's a handoff to number 1, LaQuint Allen, who's tackled right at the line. A host of Hokie tacklers on the play. In on the stop for Virginia Tech, the linebacker Caleb Woodson, the true freshman from Haymarket, Virginia.
Caleb Woodson is another one of those prized true freshmen for Virginia Tech at the cornerback position. Syracuse needs a touchdown here. I don't know if this is going to be 4-down territory at this point in the ball game, but that will be interesting. Right now it would be around a 44-yard attempt.
Second down and 9, 2 receivers to either side. There's a big gap in coverage on the left side. We'll see if Schrader takes advantage. Instead, he looks right, throws right, in coverage and incomplete. Alan Tisdale was in on the coverage. The intended receiver on the play for the Syracuse Orange was LaQuint Allen Jr., the running back.
Again, they use him in the passing game. Amari Hatcher, we saw him make a play. He's gone to the locker room. And then, of course, you have Damian Alford. But that's about it in the receiving room for Syracuse. You got to utilize the playmaker in the backfield.
Third down and 9 from the 27. Schrader has 2 receivers to either side. Allen is in motion, dancing back and forth. Flag on the play, and this is a false start on Syracuse. Dead ball penalty stops the play as whistles come in. And it's the line judge in Tim Graham calling the false start.
Penalties have continued to perplex Syracuse tonight. This Lane Stadium crowd, though it's not full tonight, is real. I mean, the noise is very, very real. That's what the 5th penalty of the day for Syracuse, and now they're backed up to the 32, facing a 3rd and 14.
So a big play, key play, as they call it here at Lane Stadium. Penalty was on Enrique Cruz, the offensive lineman. Garrett Schrader coming down, talking with his center, JaAndre Reed. Schrader has 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. Claps his hands, takes the play, looking towards the left side. Caught, but immediately taken down. The Donovan Brown did not catch a ball 2 weeks ago against Florida State. Good to see him back in the stat column for Syracuse, but it sets up 4th down and long, and it will bring out, it appears to be the field goal unit for Syracuse.
And I think that's the right call. Yes, it would still be a 20-point ball game if this goes through the uprights, but you got to get points, and it's a 4th and 7. I'd also watch the fake if you're Virginia Tech.
It's 4th and 7 on the 25. Brady Denneberg, this will be a 43-yard try to match what Love did earlier. His career long is 46. This kick is up. It didn't look like the strongest kick, but it goes through the uprights. Syracuse on the board for the first time tonight, 23-20 at the 4:18 mark of the second quarter.
And a nice job by the holder of the orange. It looked like that snap may have been a little bit high. Able to get it down, boots it through the uprights. Syracuse, to your point, is on the board, but still a 20-point ball game. But like I said, you know, it feels like if you're Syracuse, it's a little bit of a loss because you don't score 7 and you're still down 3 scores with it being a 20-point game. But at the same time, like I said, I agree with the decision. You got to get points there in that spot. It's 4th and 7, and to Syracuse's credit, they do.
By the way, that holder is the backup holder, Mike Midkiff, the redshirt junior, after Jack Stonehouse had to leave the game earlier in the first quarter.
Backup holder. I don't know the last time we've seen that.
So again, redshirt junior Mike Midkiff. We have not said his name other than him being the backup holder. It will bring out Brady Denneberg. He was the kickoff specialist last year, got moved into the kicker role this year. Back deep to receive for Virginia Tech is Bashal Tootin. He's been the primary kickoff returner. Malachi Thomas is also back deep to receive. Interesting formation for Syracuse. That front line of Virginia Tech seems to be expecting an onside kick. Should Syracuse choose to go that route? Doubt it. 4:18 to go in the second quarter, and this is a low end-over-end kick that will land in the back of the end zone, bounces up and hits one of the color guard members of the band coming down for their halftime show.
Oh, gosh. Well, you'll take it if you're Virginia Tech. They're on 25. Hokies, in a perfect world, would go up 30-3 and use every single bit of this clock.
Hokies do have all 3 timeouts. Dino Babers and Syracuse also have all 3 of their timeouts. Virginia Tech sets up 1st down and 10 from the Syracuse 25-yard line. Kyron Drones with 2 receivers to the left side and 1 to the right, and we'll see how Brent Pry handles this situation with 4 and change on the clock. It's a handoff to Bashal Tootin. He cuts to the outside, but barely gains a yard. Maybe even no gain on the play. And we have a member of the Syracuse Orange slow to get up, a little difficult to ID at the moment. We'll get that to you as soon as we can. But for Syracuse, yet another injury on the play. Bashal Tootin rushed to the outside. It was officially ruled as no gain, so 2nd down and 10 from the 25. Official timeout for injury stops the clock at the 4:05 mark.
A lot of injuries today.
And we'll take a look here. It appears to be
Okonkwo.
Okechukwu.
Okechukwu. I'm sorry. Was thinking about Pitt.
Well, this will be interesting. Okechukwu hosts the Mob podcast, which takes an inside look at Syracuse's defense. And not to make light of a tough situation, but would be interested to see what he has to say about this moment on next week's edition.
Yes.
2nd down and 10 on the 25. He's taken off the field on his own power, so that looks pretty good for Syracuse.
Yes, it definitely does. 2nd and 10 from the 25, to your point.
Also in on the play, Derek McDonald, the redshirt sophomore out of Atlanta.
Curious to see what Virginia Tech does here. I think maybe you run the football, 2nd and 10.
2nd down and 9 is now the new spot, according to the scoreboard here at Lane Stadium. From the 26-yard line, Jalen Lane in motion yet again. Would love to see his Fitbit. Drones looking to go deep yet again. Instead, he rolls to the left on a quarterback keeper, scampers into the Syracuse bench at the 30-yard line. 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Hokies from the 30.
All kinds of time there for Kyron Drones as well. Credit to him for making something happen with his feet. 3rd and manageable now from the 30.
Hokies went up 13-0 in the first quarter, now leading the second quarter 10-3. Free play for the Hokies. Kyron Drones launching it down the left side. It is incomplete, tipped away, and another flag comes in for pass interference. Now, Carter, correct me if I'm wrong, but that pass interference, will that count with the false start? There are 2 fouls on the play, both on Syracuse. My apologies.
So it's an offsides call. So the offsides will be declined, and they'll take the pass interference call. Let's hear. That'll be declined. That'll be accepted.
So 1st down, Virginia Tech on a pass interference. The false start was declined. Hokies get a big chunky yards and another penalty on the Orange, their 6th of the night.
Yeah, 6 penalties with 3 minutes left to go in the first half is a lot. It really is. Potentially, or I should say particularly, with the situations they've been in so far tonight.
Daquan Felton was the intended receiver on the previous play, by the way. 1st and 10 from the Syracuse 45. Lane in motion again, but it's Malachi Thomas on the handoff. He fights to the Syracuse 49. 2nd down and mid-range. 2nd down and 6 from the 49-yard line. By the way, the pass interference was called against Isaiah Johnson for Syracuse. 2nd down and 6 from the 49-yard line. Kyron Drones taking a second to look over towards the sideline to get a signal call. 2 receivers to the right side and 1 to the left. Drones taking his time, 10 seconds on the play clock. Now claps his hands and receives it. Drones rolls out right side. He's looking for another home run play for Jalen Lane. Caught at the 12 and ripped down at the 10. A huge play for Virginia Tech to set up first and goal. Jalen Lane, the transfer from Middle Tennessee. A big play, 1st and 10 at the 10. And by the way, the first player to ever share the name of this stadium. A play already being ran. Kyron Drones down to the 3-yard line. My apologies, the Hokies were going hurry up.
They went fast on that play, and Virginia Tech has shown the ability to do that after a big play. If Tech scores on this drive, this game may be over at halftime. That's a 27-point game.
We're now at the 2-minute mark. Of course, no 2-minute warning like the Thursday Night Football over on Amazon Prime in the NFL. By the way, that game just started between Tampa Bay and Buffalo, no score. 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. No chance for a first down. You have to score. Chance from the student section. Handoff to Bashal. Tootin, can he get to the goal line? He dives in. No signal yet. Touchdown, Hokies. 29-3, pending the extra point. Bashal Tootin rushes in. And this Virginia Tech team looking reinvented ever since that Pitt game a few weeks ago. John Love will come out to try to make this a 30-3 game over ACC foes in the Syracuse Orange.
This is the best Virginia Tech's offense has looked in I don't know how long. It has been a long time since the Hokies have been this good offensively. Everything's working.
The kick is up, and this one is good. It looked like it was sailing towards the right upright, but a good kick nonetheless. The fireworks shoot off once more. Skipper's been getting a workout. The cannon the Hokies fire off after every score. And the Hokie Bird has 30 push-ups to do. 30-3 over Syracuse. A minute 34 remaining in the half. Dino Babers, Syracuse have all 3 timeouts if they want to try to go down the field and respond.
You feel like you have to. You're down 27. You got to try to put points on the board here. There's nothing really to lose at this point. Tyler, real fast, I take you back to the second half of Purdue. I take you back to Huntington, West Virginia. If I had told you when the Syracuse Orange, who were 4-0 at the time, would come to Blacksburg and Virginia Tech would be on pace to score 60 points in the game, what would you have said?
That we should lock you in a room with some padded walls because you're insane.
Fair, that's fair.
A minute 34 remains in the first half. In the second half, Carter Hill, my broadcast partner, will take over on the play-by-play. So if you're sick of me, stay tuned for that. Kyle Lowe, the kickoff specialist, wearing a new number 38. A call for a touchback as it lands above the I and the R in Virginia of the Virginia Tech end zone. And this crowd is ready to erupt once more.
And they should, as they should. I mean, this Tech defense has been dynamic all night long. And also Kyle Lowe wearing the 38 because Cole Beck, who's typically on special teams, is out. So Jalen Lane comes in. He wears 83, a new number for Kyle Lowe.
Fun little tidbit there. We first saw that against Florida State. Garrett Schrader rolls out to the right side. He's ripped down, tries to throw the ball. That would have been an illegal forward pass. They're going to call him out of bounds already at around the 28. I don't think Schrader knew that he was past the line of scrimmage.
I don't know what he was doing in general. I mean, he's lucky he was out of bounds. All he did, he may have fumbled that ball too, looking back on it. I don't even know if it was a forward pass.
Brings up 2nd down and 8. Clock is moving just above the 1-minute mark. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Garrett Schrader. He takes the snap. It's a handoff and swallowed up immediately is the running back in LaQuint Allen Jr. He was talked about so much coming into this game. Josh Fuga is in on the stop for Virginia Tech, joined alongside Mario Kendricks, but LaQuint Allen has been essentially taken out of this game. With that play, that's a loss of 3. He now has 10 yards.
This is...
We're
going to get a
real
timeout.
Quick.
Yeah,
just timeout Syracuse at 58 seconds.
Well, and I was going to say, look at the clock now. I think, why would Syracuse take the timeout? That's interesting to me. 3rd and 11 at the 24. If you're Virginia Tech, Why wouldn't you take a timeout? You have an opportunity now, 3rd and 11 with 58 seconds left with 3 timeouts. If you stop the Orange and you use a timeout on this ensuing play, you're probably going to get the ball back at your own 40-yard line with 40 seconds left to go. This lead could be expanded before halftime.
We'll see what Virginia Tech elects to do. Of course, it depends a lot on what happens on this play. And you're right, you do have the time with a couple more timeouts if you burn one here for Virginia Tech if you wanted to try and score. A deeper defense, the safeties playing all the way back at the 35 for 3rd and 11 at the 24. Schrader takes a snap, looking long, he runs into an offensive lineman and is ripped down. Another sack for the Hokies. 4th time Schrader has been sacked today. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's Antoine Powell-Ryland yet again.
It was, and I mean, and Mario Kendricks got in there as well. This is, I mean, Virginia Tech, this is a perfect world. You sack them again, and now it's 4th and 16 at your own end zone. Virginia Tech used the timeout, and they're going to get the ball back around midfield with 40 seconds left with 2 timeouts.
Tucker Holloway can run some magic on the punt return as well. It brings out Max von Marburg, the backup punter. Remember, the main punter, Jack Stonehouse, went out with an injury in the first quarter. 30-3, Virginia Tech. 52 seconds left in the second quarter, and it feels like we played a full game so far.
Tyler, and I'll wait till after this play to make this statement. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this.
4th and 16 from the 19. Max von Marburg, the Australian backup punter, will send a high kick, spiraling. Holloway will receive it at the 26. Slips on his back foot, now stumbles, cuts to the right, gets to around the 38, and took a long time to go a short way. 39 seconds on the clock. Some extracurriculars having to be broken up, not letting Tucker Holloway get to his feet was the Syracuse special teamist in Miles Farmer.
And like you mentioned, some extracurriculars, and unfortunately for Virginia Tech, there was a holding penalty on the play. So this drive's going to start around the 25-ish yard line.
They're ruling the ball at the 25. That's where the official is standing. So 75 yards, 39 seconds, 2 timeouts. Carter, it would not shock me if Brent Pry decides to go conservative.
At this point, maybe you run a play and you run the football and see what you can get. But at this point, yeah, I mean, you're up 27. Why would you force something? And they're going to mark this ball at the 15-yard line. So, yes, I would think the Hokies will go to the locker room. They were supposed to get the ball back in midfield. I would not be shocked if Kyron Drones takes another shot deep down the field to Daquan Felton, which they've run 3 times already tonight, only successful once. And it is 5 wide for Virginia Tech and Kyron Drones. And how about this? When's the last time you've seen somebody get carted off the field and come back in the game in the same half?
By the way, my correction, Jack Stonehouse is also back in the game. He just punted that ball for Syracuse. So 5 wide, man in motion is Malachi Thomas. Fake jet sweep. Drones will dump it down to Jalen Lane, who gets to the 25 and quickly out of bounds. Clock does stop now that we're under 2 minutes. First down, Hokies at the 30, make that the 25-yard line with 33 seconds left. Hokies still with 2 timeouts.
And Virginia Tech, they're going to try and score here. Now, we'll see what happens on this play, but I like it. I mean, you want to show that you can step on somebody's throat and put the game away.
Bunch formation for the Hokies at the 25. Lane in motion again. Drones calling for the ball. Finally gets it. He's looking towards the left side. It's a dump down. Jalen Lane's got it at the 30. Has to break a tackle, but goes down. Timeout called by Brent Pry at the 25-second mark. At least it seemed like there was a timeout called by Pry.
I believe there
was.
The
clock does stop, so that you would assume that's what it is. It has not been announced yet.
I do think some people will say, why is Virginia Tech trying to score here? Is this unsportsmanlike? Hold up. This is a 27-point game. I get it, but we're still in the first half.
By the way, we're officially under record watch as well. Kyron Drones can potentially be in the Virginia Tech history books for most passes without an interception since 1987. He's at 144 attempts without one. 149 the record by Sean Glennon in 2007.
What do you think? Try and score here?
I think you got to take a shot, in my opinion. Virginia Tech down to just one timeout. You either need to get out of bounds. You don't waste a timeout and then go conservative. And now an unnecessary roughness called on Virginia Tech. And at this point, in my opinion, you take a knee.
I agree. That was weird. I mean, that was a full price 60 seconds after the play and after a timeout was called.
So a unnecessary roughness that is a personal foul. Unsure of who that was called on at the moment. We'll try to get that information to you as soon as we can.
But yeah, now you take a knee. You definitely take a knee now.
It's not quote-unquote victory formation for Virginia Tech. Seems to be two receivers out wide in Stephen Gosnell and Jalen Lane. Adding in Benji Gosnell as well out to the left side. Seems like Virginia Tech's going to take a shot on 2nd and 17 from the 18.
Interesting.
Man in motion again. It's Jalen Lane again. Drones, this time a handoff. Malachi Thomas breaks a tackle but is swallowed up at the 20-yard line. In on the stop, Justin Barron, the junior from Rocky Hill, Connecticut, for the Syracuse Orange.
And how about that? Syracuse now uses a timeout, trying to get the ball
It's 3rd
back.
and long. I'm interested at what Syracuse is planning. With this punt, you'd get the ball at around midfield. You have not been able to move the ball offensively at all. And there are 20 seconds remaining in the half, both teams with one timeout. 3rd and 15 coming up for Virginia Tech.
Well, and the fans are booing, but why not? You know, if you're Dino Babers, you've seen Brent Pry use his timeouts, and you're down 27. Again, you have nothing to lose. You wouldn't expect Virginia Tech to score, 80 yards on this play, and there's 20 seconds left, so chances are the Hokies aren't going to score. Why not? See if you can get a stop, use your last timeout, and see if you can get the ball back with, 4 or 5 seconds left at your own 40. Maybe Hail Mary position for Garrett Schrader, who, by the way, has a very strong arm.
3rd down and 15. The referees blowing their whistles to get the teams back out onto the field. And in all likelihood, this could be the last play of the first half if Virginia Tech gets a first down. If not, we'll see Syracuse call a timeout, get Virginia Tech to punt the ball. We have not seen Peter Moore, the punter, yet today, worth noting.
True. That is a good point.
So Kyron Drones has 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Man in motion. It's a handoff to Malachi Thomas, who doesn't get much of anything, down to the 22-yard line. And Dino Babers does call his final timeout for Virginia Tech. That takes 7 seconds off the clock. So 13 seconds. With the punt, you can expect to get the ball maybe at around the 40, 50-yard line with 3 seconds.
Maybe. That could be a stretch, too. I would say you're going to get the ball back around the 30, 35 with Peter Moore's leg. And there's a chance they are going to reset the game clock to 14 seconds. There's a chance maybe you get it back with some time, 15 seconds, excuse me. There's a chance you can get the ball back in a position to score, but in all likelihood, no. I mean, this play is not going to last 15 seconds, but my guess is you get the ball back with a second or 2 left at the 30, because if I were Syracuse in this situation, I wouldn't even send a returner back.
Let me run something by you. At the 22-yard line, we know Kyron Drones has a good leg. Do you run around in the backfield and wait for that clock to expire?
Not with 15 seconds. If it was 7 or 8, maybe, it would kill the stats for the game.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
but maybe with 6 or 7, I would say up 27, you just punt the football and don't run any risks.
30-3, Virginia Tech with 15 seconds left in the first half. And this feels like late game strategy from Dino Babers at the end of the first half. It brings out Peter Moore for the first time today, who's averaging 44 yards a punt.
Hey, why not, though? Why not if you're Dino Babers? Use your timeouts and see what you can get.
Here comes the snap. Peter Moore takes his time and boots this away. As good of a punt as you'll see, backing up to the 20-yard line, and Syracuse going to try to return this. It's a decent return out to the 41 with 3 seconds left, so we'll see a Hail Mary from Garrett Schrader. And one thing I want to run by you, Carter. 2 years ago, Syracuse in this stadium, around same spot at the field, working towards the north. Garrett Schrader hit Damian Alford with 19 seconds left in the game over Dorian Strong to effectively win the game for Syracuse.
Yeah, Schrader has the arm. It would be a 59-yard touchdown to get it to the end zone, but hey, why not try, I guess?
I mean, it looks nearly identical. Hokies playing prevent defense with safeties all the way down to the 20. Schrader, it's a handoff, and immediately ripped down on the play was LaQuinn Allen Jr. Not really sure why you go run there with burning your timeouts, trying to get the ball back. But regardless, the Hokies go into the locker room leading the Syracuse Orange 30-3. And one thing of note, Virginia Tech has a locker room on the field here, but instead they're going back through the tunnel, back to their locker room in the Merriman Athletics Center. That takes us to the halftime, very quick halftime report here on 3304 Sports. 30-3 is your score. Virginia Tech outscored Syracuse 13-0 in the first quarter, then outscored the Orange 17-3 in the second quarter. 6 for 11 is Garrett Schrader, 65 yards, been sacked 4 times. Leading rusher is LaQuinn Allen Jr. for 12 yards. Leading receiver Damian Alford, 2 receptions for 37 yards for Syracuse. Virginia Tech, 10 for 17. Kyron Drones is. Malachi Thomas also had a passing touchdown on a flea flicker. 159 yards passing for Kyron Drones, 175 in total. Leading rusher for Virginia Tech is Kyron Drones, 62 yards. Bashal Tootin, the running back, with 58 and a touchdown. Leading receiver for Virginia Tech, Jalen Lane, 6 receptions for 72 yards. By yardage, it's Daquan Felton, 3 receptions for 80 yards, a 62-yard pass as well. Well, that'll take us to the half. When we return, Carter Hill will take over on the play-by-play. Your halftime score, the Syracuse Orange 3, the Virginia Tech Hokies 30. You're listening to Thursday Night College Football on 3304 Sports.
Welcome back to Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. Thursday night football here in Southwest Virginia. One of the better traditions in all of college football. It's all Virginia Tech here from the 5-4-0, 30-3 as we start the second half against the Syracuse Orange. Alongside Tyler Katz, I'm Carter Hill. And Tyler, I know you briefly recapped it, but what are your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, this is a reinvented Virginia Tech offense, like we've been saying all week leading up to this, and mentioned before the game that Syracuse is a team of momentum. Their game didn't get started off great at all with an intentional grounding, a holding penalty, and that set the tone for Syracuse going into the locker room down 27. And for Syracuse, it almost seems like they're waving the flag that's the color of their jerseys right now.
So meets leather to start the second half, and it bounces over Bashal Tootin's head through the back of the end zone for a touchback. So the Hokies set up shot, 1st and 10 at their own 25 to start the second half, and it brings Kyron Drones back out there, who has been dynamic so far today.
Yeah, Kyron Drones has looked really good. Is 5 passes without an interception away from tying the Virginia Tech record since 1987, 6 from breaking it. So we'll see if he keeps it out of the hands of the Syracuse defense.
Drones, the transfer from Baylor, starts in the shotgun, a bunch formation for Virginia Tech with the receiver split out to the left. He sends Bashal Tootin in motion, takes the snap, fakes the give. No, he gets it off to Tootin. Veering to his right across the 25-30, trips over a tackle at the 35 and is tossed down around the 40. A touchdown-saving tackle was made defensively by Leon Lowry Jr., the linebacker for the Cuse. It's a pickup of 15 on the play, and the Hokies pick up a first at their own 40.
Yeah, Leon Lowry Jr. doing a great job there at 3 tackles last week against the Noles.
Hokies slowly moving down the field again. Drones alone in the shotgun, bunch formation. He sends a man in motion, claps the hands, takes the snap, gives it off to Tootin once again. No, he keeps it, rolls to his right, fires far sideline, and it's incomplete. Behind the intended receiver, Daquan Felton. It appeared that Elijah Clark was in coverage for the Orange. And it's 2nd down and 10 at the Tech 40.
Daquan Felton, 80 yards with that 63-yard catch for the touchdown in the first half as well.
Drones in the gun, bunch formation again with Tootin at his left hip. The Baylor transfer sends a man in motion. It's Jalen Lane. He takes the snap, fakes the give, pitches it off to Tootin, veering to his right, cutting back inside at the 40, and is tripped up around the 45. They'll mark him down at the 44. A pickup of 4 on the play. And it brings up a 3rd and 6 for Tech.
Yeah, and it seemed like Jalen Lane was the rusher there instead of Tootin, but a decent pickup for the wide receiver.
3rd and 6 from their own 44 with the clock winding under 14 minutes to play. Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse 30-3 here from Lane Stadium. Trying to move to 4-4 in 2023. The Hokies go 5 wide. 3 receivers to the right. Drones alone at the gun. Claps the hands, takes the snap, looks right, throws right. It's caught. Malachi Thomas shifting back inside at the 45. Tries to get to the 50, but is pushed out of bounds. Let's give him the 48. It was Jason Simmons Jr. who shoved him out of play, and it brings up a 4th and about 2 for Tech.
And an injury timeout as well. There's an injured Orangeman on the far side next to their sideline at around the Virginia Tech 47-yard line, trying to ID him as we speak.
4th down and 2 indeed, and it sets up the Hokies seemingly about to punt for the 2nd time today. 13:35 remaining here in quarter number 3 from Blacksburg. We'll step aside and come right back. You're listening to College Football on 3304 Sports.
Ready?
Yep. Back here in Blacksburg, 30-3 Virginia Tech on top of the Syracuse Orange. 13:35 to play. Tyler Katz, Carter Hill here in the 3rd quarter from level 7, high above Lane Stadium, Worsham Field, where Peter Moore is about to punt for just the 2nd time today. His first came on the final drive of the first half.
Yeah, and Kyron Drones, Syracuse looking to get into this game down 27, but you need a play on your opening drive to set the pace.
LaQuint Allen stands back at his own 10. He swings the right leg and sends one end over end at the 10, where Allen calls for the fair catch and makes it there at the 10-yard line, where the Orange will take over 1st and 10 with 90 yards to go to potentially make this a 20-point game.
Hey, we've had a longer drive so far today. Virginia Tech had a 93-yard drive for a touchdown that was capped off by a 62-yard touchdown reception. But Garrett Schrader has struggled to find receivers in open space so far today.
First time we've seen Garrett Schrader here in the 2nd half. Lane Stadium comes alive once again. The Orange have been decimated offensively. Just 62 total yards so far today. And trailing by 27, they need a fast start. In the shotgun is Garrett Schrader. 3 receivers wide. Allen at his left hip. Claps the hands, takes a snap, looks left, throws middle of the field. It's caught. Damian Alford, who bumps off a tackler at the 25, is tossed down at the 29. A flag is tossed on the far sideline. So we'll see what that could be. And it looks like it's going to be ineligible man, I should say, downfield for the Orange. And that's exactly what it is, according to Riley Johnson, our head referee. Jalen Jones made the tackle. It will not count, though. And the Orange, all of a sudden, once again, Tyler, 1st and 15 at their own 5.
Yeah, it just seems to be that change of pace, right, for Virginia Tech. Benefiting from some Syracuse penalties on the 5. They've gotten to Garrett Schrader 4 times today. This is where you do not need a sack if you're 'Cuse.
4 receivers wide for Syracuse. Garrett Schrader in the gun. Claps the hands, takes the snap, looks left. Pressure comes. Antoine Powell. Ryland is there, and he takes him down in the backfield. Both him and Cole Nelson, wearing the honorary number 25, gets to Garrett Schrader. It's a safety for the Hokies. We have a 32-3 ball game here in Blacksburg.
2nd safety that Virginia Tech has scored this season. The first was on a punt from Old Dominion that went through the back of the end zone on a bad snap. This is the more traditional way. Looks like it will be a solo sack for Beamer's 25, Cole Nelson.
It was the combination of APR and Cole Nelson, the junior from Johns Creek, Georgia, who made the stop. And it looked like for a minute that Schrader tried to throw the ball. And actually, looking at the replay, I wonder, Tyler, if they're going to call that a strip sack, and the ball was loose and went through the back of the end zone.
We'll see what the official ruling is right now. In my opinion, that is a sack with an intentional grounding.
Yes.
If that was a backwards pass, then yes, it is a fumble. But regardless of what it is, 2 points on the scoreboard for Virginia Tech. And they get the ball back. Syracuse has to punt the ball away. By the way, for the Syracuse fans, Jack Stonehouse, who was injured in the first quarter, looked like a nasty leg injury, recovered from it. He is back as the punter for Syracuse. Just a quick note.
So here's how they score it, Tyler, and I'm acting like we're broadcasting baseball right now. Garrett Schrader was sacked, and they do call it a fumble on the play that goes through the back of the end zone for a a safety.
Now imagine if that was in the front of the end zone and that ball stays in the end zone, and that's a touchdown, for Tech.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And we see some fireworks high above Worsham Field. So this is one of those tricky situations because if you're Syracuse, you can either punt the ball, you can kick it off. Jack Stonehouse looks like he will punt at his own 15-yard line for the Orange. And we see two returners back deep with Jalen Lane standing at the 15 and Tucker Holloway is up front at his own 20.
Yeah, I would like to see Tucker Holloway in this interesting punt formation on a safety to see what he could draw up with how versatile he is.
Stonehouse will swing the right leg and boot it away right around the 20. It is going to be Tucker Holloway who receives it at the ACC logo. Across the middle of the field, he's loose at the 35, cutting back to the outside across the 40. 45 of Syracuse where he's tossed down at the 47. How about Tucker Holloway once again and the Hokies great field position to start technically their second drive.
And exactly what I would want to see from Tucker Holloway as well. He is so versatile, and we saw that there. His juke moves left and right. I mean, he is such a talent for this Virginia Tech team. Started in 2020 in a big road game against Duke, and then really has made a name for himself since that COVID season.
Three receivers wide for Virginia Tech. Bayshaw Tootin, I should say, is at the right hip of Kyron Drones, who will take the snap, fake the give. Pressure comes, he fires it deep down the left sideline. There's a receiver open. It's Felton, but it was behind the Norfolk State transfer and sailed out of bounds around the 20. So it brings up a second down and 10 for Tech at its own 46 with 12:42 to play. Greg Delane was in coverage out of Fort Myers, Florida for the Orange. They targeted Felton quite a bit today.
Yeah, Daquan Felton's been one of the top targets so far, but Jalen Lane actually has the most receptions.
Four wide for the Hokies. Tootin in the backfield. Jalen Lane in motion. He will take the snap, give it off to Tootin, plowing forward across midfield, and is thrown down around the 49. They may actually spot him down right at the 50. It was Anwar Sparrow from Virginia Beach who got to him. 3rd and 5 at the 49 of Syracuse for Virginia Tech. Clock continues to wind. Tech goes four wide once again. Tootin in the backfield, standing at the left hip of Kyron Drones. Drones, the transfer from Baylor, making his 6th career start and has been dynamite ever since taking over for Grant Wells. Looking over his left shoulder is Kyron Drones, 6 on the play clock. Barking at his offensive line. 3, 2, Drones will receive the snap. Drop back, pressure comes, looking over the middle of the field. Pressure comes again on a second wave, and he's taken down in the backfield right around the 44. Marlowe Wax Jr. out of Baltimore is the one who received him down to the ground. It is another sack for Syracuse, and Virginia Tech will punt once again.
3rd sack of the season for Wax. He's looked really good and actually has quite the streak for Syracuse, making his 33rd consecutive start for the Orange today.
Peter Moore back to punt. Donovan Brown back to receive at his own 8-yard line. 2 punts so far on the day for Peter Moore. Both have been fantastic. He receives the snap and will boot it away end over end. A spiraling kick right around the 10. It bounces around the 15 and takes a favorable Syracuse roll to the 20, where it is down by Jaden Keller, and that is where the Orange will start yet another offensive drive with 11:04 to play here in quarter number 3. 32-3, Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse. Will step aside once again on 33:04 Sports. You're listening to ACC College Football. 32-3, Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse with 11:04 to play in the 3rd quarter here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. Carter Hill, Tyler Katz alongside you here on behalf of 33:04 Sports, where the Syracuse Orange are about to start its 2nd drive of the 2nd half with Garrett Schrader and company setting up shop at their own 20-yard line. Hokies capitalizing in the 2nd half of play on a Cole Nelson strip sack that went for a safety. Here is Garrett Schrader in the shotgun with 2 receivers wide, 2 in the backfield. He claps his hands, takes the snap, drops back, looks over the middle of the field, and it's caught. A leaping Damian Alford at the 35 is tripped up at the 38. It was Dorian Strong and Jalen Jones, the converted wide receiver, who took him down to the ground, and Syracuse moves to the sticks.
Syracuse looking decent on the passing game so far.
10:45 to play, running clock. Snap back to Garrett Schrader. He gives it off to LaQuint Allen, shakes a tackler at the 40, now across the 45 and trying to get to midfield at the 50, where he barrels over a tackler and is downed at the 48 by Alan Tisdale, the 6-year senior.
Yeah, barreled over the cornerback Dorian Strong for Virginia Tech, and that's what we expected from LaQuint Allen heading into this game. Was actually talking to Dorian Strong earlier this week, who said the offense runs through him.
Snap back to Garrett Schrader, right back to the line. He fires it far side. It's caught. Damian Alford shifting out of a tackle at the 40 and is downed at the 33. Dorian Strong made the stop, and Syracuse, just like that, is knocking on the door.
Syracuse has not had more than a single offensive score the last 2 weeks.
3 wide, snap back to Schrader. He gives it off to Allen, cutting back to the left across the 30, trying to cut back inside. He does so at the 25 and is objected down to the ground right there. It was Nazir Peoples who got to him. A pickup of 8 on the play, and it's 2nd and 2. 9:35 to play, running clock, and Jalen Jones goes down. So we do have some members of the training staff that will go attend to him. And look at that, TK. That will send us to yet another media timeout. Also important to note that Jalen Stroman is out the rest of the game, according to Zach Mackey of the Virginia Tech Sports Network. So, as we head to another media timeout, we will step aside once again. 9:37 remains here in the 3rd quarter of play. 32-3, Tech on top of Syracuse. We'll step aside and come right back from Lane Stadium.
Stop believing.
The tune of Don't Stop Believin' by Journey, TK, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Is tolling throughout the Lane Stadium stands as we currently speak, where Virginia Tech leads the Syracuse Orange 32-3 on a Thursday night in Blacksburg. Syracuse faces a 2nd and 2, and quickly to the line under center goes Garrett Schrader. At the Tech 25, he takes the snap, gives it off to Allen, who crosses the 20, is bulldozed down around the 19, breaks a tackle there, and is tossed down at the 18. It was Dorian Strong who eventually got to him, and Keyshawn Burgos as well. Syracuse moves the sticks again. It's 1st and 10 at the Tech 18. 9:15 to play, running clock. Cuse trails by 29. And now they will slow down the offense. But they have certainly worked fast at times tonight. And now a multi-substitution for Virginia Tech with 6 defenders taking the field. Schrader under center again. 3 on the play clock. Takes the snap, pitches it back to Allen, who tries to get across the 20, shakes a tackle there, and is finally taken down right there at the 20-yard line. Jaden Keller ushered him down to the ground. He bulldozed his way back to the 23, bounced off a couple more tacklers, and was finally taken down at the 20. It's a loss of 2, and it's 2nd and 12.
For the most part, Virginia Tech has done a really good job of containing LaQuint Allen. He's had some multi-yard runs recently, but for the most part, Virginia Tech has locked him down. Only 21 yards rushing on the night for Syracuse.
Garrett Schrader back in the shotgun. 4 receivers wide. Allen at his right hip. Clap of the hands, takes the snap, looks right, pump fakes, fires it down the right sideline. It's caught. His tight end at the 5, cutting back inside, is tossed down there. A flag does come in, though. Dorian Strong made the stop on, it looked like on the play. It was
89, Dan
Villari, thank you. The tight end, 2nd catch of the day, should it stand. And it will. A holding call on the defense. It is declined because of the pickup on the play of about 14 yards. And it's going to be 1st and goal for Syracuse for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Syracuse knocking at the door for the first time, down 29. You really need a score here if you're Cuse. It's essentially a 4-score game right now.
From the 6-yard line, Lane Stadium rises to its feet. And the Orange will take their time as we move under 8 minutes to play in the quarter. Garrett Schrader in the gun, 3 receivers wide. Allen in the backfield, he sends a man in motion, claps his hands, takes the snap, rolls right, fires back of the end zone, a leaping grab for the touchdown. And no, it came out at the last minute. Damian Alford had it in his hands, and as he went down to the ground, it seemingly popped out. Let's see a replay of this, TK. Yeah, he had it going down, and it was Derek Canteen who forced it out at the last minute.
Great play there by Derek Canteen. Wore number 25 a couple games ago.
2nd and goal from the 6. 4 receivers wide. Allen in the backfield. The tight end goes in motion. Snap back to Schrader. Fakes the give. Fires. Middle of the field. It's caught for the touchdown. It was Dan Villari once again. His 3rd catch of the day. And the score for the Cuse makes this for now a 32-9 ball game.
Yeah, big play there for Syracuse. Pending the extra point, we'll get into double digits for the first time since September 30th in a home game against Clemson.
Brady Denenberg on to attempt the PAT. Snap back, hold is down, kick is up, and it is true. So the first 7 on the board for the Syracuse Orange. 32-10 now with 7:41 to play. So although the Hokies still have a 3-score lead, maybe a little bit of life, Tyler, for Syracuse.
Yeah, well, barring the bye week, or including the bye week, I should say, it's been nearly 3 weeks since Syracuse last scored a touchdown. That was not too far from here over in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and the first time that the Syracuse Spirit squad is able to fly the flag and not getting too many boos from it being a 22-point game. But Syracuse has not scored multiple times in a game since September 30th against Clemson in a game that they lost. Kind of a similar score to this, 31-14.
No doubt about that one. Just a combined 3 touchdowns for the Orange. If you're counting tonight, or excuse me, if you're not counting tonight, in the past 3 games. Bayshaw Tootin and Malachi Thomas stand at the Hokies' own goal line with Denenberg about to tee off for just the 3rd time tonight with the field goal, the touchdown, and of course the opening kickoff in the second half of play. Again, Carter Hill, Tyler Katz alongside you here on behalf of 3304 Sports. So thrilled you could spend your Thursday evening with us here in Blacksburg. And here we go with Denenberg swinging the right leg, and he sends one end over end just to the goal line, and Bayshaw Tootin will let it go and bounce through the back for a touchback.
Yeah, and with Virginia Tech getting the ball, worth mentioning yet again, Kyron Drones 2 passes away from passing Sean Glennon for most passes without an interception in Tech history since 1987.
Hokies set up 1st and 10 at their own 25. Kyron Drones looking to break a new record and edge his name in Hokie history. Tech goes 4 wide, Bayshaw Tootin in the backfield, standing at the left hip of Kyron Drones. 7:41 to play. He sends a man in motion. Drones, clap of the hands, takes the snap, fakes the give. No, he gives it off to Tootin, veering to his right, across the 30, breaks a tackle at the 32, and is down to around the 33. Let's give him 8 on the play. It's 2nd and 2 for Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech doing a nice job of continuing to pick up yardage. And for Virginia Tech right now, you need to be careful to play to win this game and not play to not lose.
Syracuse looking to gain some momentum back defensively and give the offense another shot. And it already looks like, TK, the Hokies are slowing down and letting this clock wind.
Yeah, I saw that in the first drive of the game, but it's a smart play by Tech.
3 wide for Drones and company. Sends a man in motion, claps the hands, takes the snap, gives it off to Tootin, veers to his right again, across the 35, and is taken down at the 37. They give him 4 on the play. Justin Barron took him down, and the Hokies move the sticks again. 6:45 to play. Running clock as the Hokies work right to left on your radio dial. Malachi Thomas will substitute in for Bayshaw Tootin. Hokies look like they will go 4 wide, and Drones and company again just taking their sweet, sweet time, leading by 22.
Yeah, Drone's taking a lot of time to get the play call.
Daquan Wright goes in motion with drones in the gun. Clap of the hands, takes the snap. Will pitch it off to the right to Malachi Thomas across the 35, now to the 40. Shakes a tackler at the 42 and is tossed down right around the 45. Jason Simmons Jr., we've called his name a lot tonight, makes the stop. It's a gain of 8 and 2nd and 2 again for the Hokies.
Yeah, Jason Simmons Jr., his dad Jason Sr., coach for the Carolina Panthers, so sure he got coached up a lot in high school and especially now in college.
The senior from the Lone Star State of Texas. Hokies will take their time once again with Kyron Drones like a statue staring at the sideline. 10 seconds on the play clock. 5:45 to play running clock. Hokies go 4 wide. Jalen Lane goes in motion. Malachi Thomas at his left hip. He will take the snap, give it off to Thomas, who breaks a tackle at the 45 and is taken down right around the 48. Let's give him 3, and let's give him a first down for Virginia Tech. Caleb Okachukwu made the stop for the Orange.
And a big first down keeps that clock rolling. I know we're midway through the third quarter, but Virginia Tech just wants to keep that clock going down to secure this dub.
And the clock continues to wind as we are about to submerge under 5 minutes to play here in quarter number 3. 10 on the play clock for Drones with a bunch formation and Thomas at his right hip. Clap of the hands, takes the snap, pitches it off to Thomas, who breaks a tackle at the 45, crosses midfield at the 50, and is objected down to the ground at the 46 of Syracuse as the Hokies once again move into Cuse territory and are knocking on the door, picking up the first down once again. They give them 7, 2nd and 3 for the Hokies in the Orange's territory. And this is, Tyler, this is so much of an opposite way the Hokies have run their offense compared to the first half. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, slow, methodical, running the ball a lot, not letting Drones do too much. Very different.
Snap back to Kyron Drones, who will give it off to Malachi Thomas. He plows forward at the 45 and is tossed down right around the 44. So let's give him 2 on the play. Justin Barron again coming from the boundary safety position, making the stop. And it is going to be, let's say, a 3rd and 1 for the Hokies at the 44 of Syracuse.
Yeah, one interesting note for Barron is he's been playing much closer to the defensive line than he has all season, and it's been working for Syracuse. We've called his name a lot tonight.
Hokies go 4 wide, a 4-man front for the Syracuse Orange. Bayshaw Tootin at the left hip of Kyron Drones on a 3rd and 2 from the 45. Drones with 5 on the play clock, sends a man in motion. He receives the snap, gives it off to Tootin, who breaks a tackle at the 45, across the 40, and is thrown down at the 36. The physicality again shows for Bayshaw Tootin. Elijah Clark made the stop, and the Hokies move the sticks again on the drive.
Yeah, big assist as well from Jalil Martin, the redshirt freshman defensive back on the assisted tackle.
3:15 to play, running clock. Here in the third quarter, Virginia Tech leads 32-10. Tech looking to move to 4-4 in 2023 and set themselves up in bowl position. 3 wide for Kyron Drones. Tootin in the backfield. He will clap the hands, takes the snap, fakes the give, drops back, looks right, throws right, down the right sideline. It's caught. That's Benji Gosnell across the 20 to the 15 and the 10. And check that, it's Steven Gosnell who's tossed down around the 9. It's a pickup of about 28 on the play, and they'll actually down him at the 11, so give him 26. It's 1st and 10 for the Hokies at the Cuse 11.
And for Steven Gosnell, 6 receptions 2 weeks ago against Wake Forest. That's his first today.
First indeed for Gosnell, the older of the 2 brothers. Hokies can get a first down at the Syracuse 1. And Kyron Drones is 1 pass away from tying the record without an interception. 2 wide for the Hokies. Tootin in the backfield. Drones will take the snap, fake the give, roll to his left, fire towards the near sideline. There's Benji Gosnell, though he's tossed down immediately at the 11. It looked like on the play that it was Chase Simmons who made the stop. It's 2nd down and 10 after the no gain.
By the way, that ties the Virginia Tech record.
Just needed 1 more. Why not on a touchdown for Virginia Tech? 1:45 to play, running clock. Again, Drones like a statue looking towards the sideline, just trying to bleed clock after clock. 4 wide for Virginia Tech. Tootin in the backfield, standing at the left hip of Kyron Drones. The Baylor transfer sends a man in motion and will take the snap. Pitch it off to Tootin, veering to his left, across the 10, barrels forward at the 8, and is tossed out of bounds around the 7. It's a pickup of 4. Elijah Clark again made the stop, and it is 3rd and 6 for Virginia Tech at the 7.
Yeah, and for Virginia Tech, this is now inching on a 6-minute drive here in the third quarter. They got the ball at the 7:41 mark.
Time of possession. And they could finish theoretically with the ball at the end of the quarter. Under a minute to go. 10 on the play clock for Drones. 3 wide, base jaw, Tootin at his left hip. He sends Jalen Lane in motion. Clap of the hands, takes the snap, fakes the give, rolls to his right, trying to find an open receiver, tosses in the flat. It's caught by Daquan Wright, who is tossed down at the 6. They give him 2 on the play, but it will be 5 yards short of the first down marker, and John Love is out for another field goal attempt after Justin Barron made the stop.
Yeah, going to have to snap the ball here, so the Hokies cannot finish the quarter with the ball due to the play clock, but could get 35 points, be the 4th field goal for John Love tonight. Should be a chip shot at 25 yards.
25-yard attempt indeed. From the 7-yard line. John Love out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. Snap back, hold down, kick is up, and it is right through. So the field goal is good, and Virginia Tech now with an unconventional way to get to 35 points, but the Hokies nonetheless lead 35-10.
Yeah, just based on the way that Virginia Tech got to 35, it almost feels like 35 feels like a weird score to see on the scoreboard right now, even though it's 5 touchdowns. But you take a look at the scoring summary for Virginia Tech. You have 4 field goals, a safety, so that gets you up to 15, and then the rest of it doing the work through by way of the touchdown, So 35-10, and a 5-point quarter for Virginia Tech.
5-point quarter. When's the last time that's happened, do you think, in college football?
You
Damian
know,
Salas, where are you at?
There's a lot of games in college football. Would not be surprised to hear it happened on
last week.
Tuesday in the
New
CUSA
Hampshire and
games.
Vermont. Yeah, exactly. No doubt about that one. With 8 seconds left to go in the quarter, Kyle Lowe, who has been a busy man today for a lot of different reasons, is set to tee off with DeMarcus Adams, Destin Hawkins, back to receive for Syracuse. Lowe swings the right leg and sends a line drive kick that will bounce through the back of the end zone, and of course there is a touchback. So 1st and 10 for Syracuse at its own 25, with Garrett Schrader and company having 8 seconds to work with in the quarter.
Yeah, and time is of no value right now if you're Syracuse. By that I mean in the third quarter, because you still have 15 minutes of the fourth quarter, which is where games are won and lost, right? So a 25-point deficit right now, still a 4-score game. You need to go and go fast.
3 wide for Syracuse. Garrett Schrader in the gun, 2 in the backfield. He will receive the snap, drop back, pressure comes, and he's taken down again. Keyshawn Burgos at the 20. And Schrader sacked once again to end the quarter. He loses 5 on the play, and the Cuse will start the final quarter facing a 2nd and 15 at their own 20-yard line. What a game in Blacksburg. All Virginia Tech here between the Hokies and the Syracuse Orange. 35-10, Tech on top. We will step aside and come right back. You're listening to College Football on 3304 Sports. 4's up. Your Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia, 35-10. Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse. 2nd and 15 at its own 20-yard line. Tyler Katz, my broadcast partner, has brought the snacks our way. We got some Oreos to go. What are you going with the Oreos?
Going with the Oreos, okay, some Chips Ahoy, always
Chips,
some.
I enjoy the Oreos. I enjoy what I had. What did I have earlier today? Rice Krispie treats. That's always the move.
Good options. Good options.
Here we go. 3 wide for Syracuse. Allen in the backfield, Schrader in the shotgun. He claps the hands, takes the snap, fakes the give. Pressure comes, and he's taken down again. Back-to-back sacks for the Hokies, and this time, this one belongs to Narell Pollard.
Yeah, Narell Pollard coming in. We haven't said his name too much this season compared to what we have had. And Garrett Schrader, for lack of a better term, is just getting beat up in the backfield. Been sacked multiple times. That becomes the 7th sack today for Garrett Schrader.
3rd down and 20 at the Cuse 15-yard line. 2 wide. Allen in the backfield. Schrader receives the snap, throws towards the near sideline. It's caught across the 20 and hurdling a defender is the tight end Valari, though he's bumped out of bounds by Jaden Keller. They'll give him about 11 yards on the play, but not near the sticks, and it's 4th, and they'll say 10 for Syracuse at the 25.
Yeah, and this will bring on the punting unit, and you know, it's not too often when we talk about a punter in this way, but it's always good to see Jack Stonehouse come back into the game after the injury he sustained in the first quarter.
4th and 10 at the Cuse 25 with Tucker Holloway standing back at the Hokies' own 30-yard line.
By the way, this punt, to me, waves the white flag for Dino Babers.
No doubt about it. Trailing by 25. Snap back to Stonehouse. He will swing the right leg, and that is a boomer of a punt. Back to the 20-yard line is Holloway. He receives it there, tries to find an open field across the 30. He goes, and down to the 35 before he's wrapped up there by a slew of Orange defenders, and the Hokies will set up shop at their own 35. 1st and 10 with 13:36 remaining. Austin Roon was the first to get there.
Yeah, Austin Roon, not too many touches, more of a special team guy for Syracuse. The redshirt sophomore out of Byron Center, Michigan. Good to see him get his name called. Truly a deserving member of this Orange team because of just how hard he works in the training room. And as the years go on for Austin Roon, hope to see him in more of a starting role for Syracuse as his college career progresses.
Well, what do you know? Another media timeout here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. 13:36 to play. 35-10. Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse. We'll step aside and come right back. You're listening to college football on 3304 Sports. Yeah. 13:36 to play here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. 35-10. Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse. And the Hokies set up shop for yet another drive at their own 35-yard line.
Yeah, just want to bring up the drive chart real quick. A 7-minute, 33-second drive last time. Should that happen, that takes us to around the 5-minute mark.
Hokies trying to chew more clock. Kyron Drones will start in the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers wide, and both Bayshal Tootin and Malachi Thomas in the backfield. Benji Gosnell, the tight end, goes in motion. Check that, it's Harrison St. Germain. Snap back to Drones. He will give it off to Tootin, rushing to his right, cutting back inside across the 40, and is across the 45, pushed by his offensive line down to the 47 before he's finally taken down there after a gain of 12, and it's a first down for the Virginia Tech Hokies.
Yeah, and Virginia Tech, if they can keep getting these first downs, just take the wind even more out of the sails of the Syracuse team.
And again, the Hokies are just going to churn away at this clock as we move under 13 minutes to play here from Blacksburg. Hokies are well on their way to victory number 4 of the 2023 season. Hokies aren't even getting in formation until 10 seconds left on the play clock. Here we go. 2 wide, 2 in the backfield for Kyron Drones, standing in the shotgun. 2 on the clock. He will clap his hands, takes the snap, fakes the give. No, he gives it off to Tootin, trying to get to the outside, and he's across midfield at the 50, 45, 40, cutting back inside of the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and he's tossed down at the 9. But I think, Tyler, this is going to come back. There is a flag back in the holding zone, and Caden Moore may be whistled for the foul, and he is going to be, it looks like.
Yeah, so it's wiped off the board, but I want to give credit where credit is due. That was a touchdown-saving tackle by Greg Delane.
And check that, it is Malachi Thomas who is called for the holding foul. And not often do you see a running back be flagged for that, but, you know, all football players are created equally. And now Virginia Tech is back in its own territory.
Well, for Virginia Tech, I think the only thing they care about is that time going off the clock.
Yes. Clock continues to wind under 12:30 to play now in Blacksburg. 15 seconds on the play clock, and again, Tech is not even getting in formation until with 10 on the play clock. It's 1st and 15. Drones in the gun. 5 wide, Dawan Lofton goes in motion. Thomas is in the backfield. Snap back to Drones. He will give it off to Thomas, veering to his left, across midfield at the 50. He's got room at the 40. Far sideline, 35-30, and is thrown down at the 28. Marlo Wax Jr., the one to usher him out of bounds, and the Hokies are knocking on the door once again. Under 12 we go here in Blacksburg. It's a first down for Tech.
And for Virginia Tech, they went one big play, got wiped off the board. They said, we're just going to do it again, another big play.
Hokies seeking their most points in the Brunt Pry era. currently stands at 38. They've done it twice this year, 36 against ODU, 38 against the Pitt Panthers. Kyron Drones in the shotgun. 3 wide, Malachi Thomas in the backfield. He sends a man in motion. It's Lofton. Snap back to Drones. Gives it off to Thomas. Moving to his right across the 30. Cutting back inside at the 25. And is downed at the 23. That is a 5-yard pickup on the play. It is 2nd down and 5 for Tech at the Syracuse 23-yard line.
And you know, the running game has really looked strong, nearing 300 rushing yards are Virginia Tech as a team.
Slowly, methodically moving down the field, looking for the capper on the night. Most complete performance in the Brent Pry era. Drones with 3 wide. Bryce Duke is in the backfield. He will take the snap, give it off to Duke, who crosses the 20, down to the 16, and is tossed down right around the 15. How about that? Bryce Duke, it's his first carry since at Florida State 2 weeks ago. And a 7-yard pickup on the play with Austin Roon making the stop allows the Hokies to move the sticks again.
Again, Virginia Tech just going with a few other options, trying to see who can make some plays. Those second stringers coming in, even though it's only a 25-point game, it's gotten to the point where Syracuse has more or less surrendered.
Bryce Duke and Jeremiah Coney, the true freshmen, are in the backfield. Coney making his collegiate debut. 3 wide for Drones. He will take the snap, give it off to Coney, crosses the 20, trying to get to the near sideline, and is wrapped up right around the 17. It may be about a half-yard loss on the play. Nonetheless, no gain for the Hokies, and it will be 2nd and 10, it appears, as we move under 10 minutes to play.
What a moment for Coney to make his collegiate debut in such a historic matchup between Tech and Syracuse.
And they say he lost a yard. It's 2nd and 11 now at the Syracuse 18-yard line. 9:40 to play, running clock as the Hokies work left to right. Kyron Drones is going to go alone in the shotgun with 5 wide. Aiden Green, Dawan Lofton, Bryce Duke, and Tucker Holloway. 7 on the play clock. Duke goes in motion. Drones, clap of the hands, takes the snap, fakes the give. No, he gives it off to Bryce Duke, who tries to get to the corner and is objected down to the ground around the 17. He gets a yard back on the play, and it will be 3rd and 10 for Tech at the Q17-yard line. So by keeping the ball on the ground, it allows more time to be chewed off the clock.
Yeah, and Syracuse is going to get the ball with, I would say, 7 minutes left. There's 8:55 on the clock, but Virginia Tech's just going to keep milking that clock further and further.
3rd down and 10. Kyron Drones will go in the shotgun, with 5 seconds on the play clock. Hokies got to go. 5 wide with Bryce Duke in the backfield. A whistle is blown, and Brent Pry is going to use a timeout.
Interesting to see Brent Pry use the timeout here. And if you're worried about a potential delay of game, why not just take it here at this point? I mean, certainly there's other discussions going on the sideline, and there's a reason that I'm up here and not down on the sidelines as part of the coaching staff. Just for me, from an outside perspective, that's an interesting timeout to take.
Well, nonetheless, the Hokies will use it with 8:38 to play here from Blacksburg. 35-10, Virginia Tech on top of the Syracuse Orange. We'll step aside and come right back. You're listening to ACC College Football on 3304 Sports. All right, let's do it. 8:38 to go here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. A beautiful Thursday night here in Southwest Virginia. 35-10, all Virginia Tech over Syracuse as the Hokies are about to move to 4-4 in 2023. Alongside Tyler Katz, I'm Carter Hill on behalf of 3304 Sports, where the Hokies will face a 3rd and 10 at the Syracuse 17 in the red zone yet again against a very good Syracuse red zone defense. Kyron Drones will start in the shotgun as the Hokies go 4 wide with Bryce Duke in the backfield. He sends a man in motion, snap back to Drones, fakes the give, fires in the flat, it's caught by Tucker Holloway, dashes across the 15, and is ripped down around the 14. That will be a 3-yard gain, and it will bring up a 4th and 7 as John Love takes the field once again. Derek McDonald out of Atlanta made the stop. So at the 13 is where the Hokies will have the ball. It is 4th and 6, but more importantly, a 31-yard field goal attempt for John Love, who has been dynamite today.
And this could be his 5th field goal of the game, mind you.
Under 8 minutes to play would make it 38-10 here in Blacksburg. With 4 on the play clock. Snap is back, hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. It was nearly blocked as well by Syracuse. Nonetheless, Love splits the uprights, and we have a 38-10 ball game. 7:47 to play here from Blacksburg, and it looks like we are going to step aside once again as we reached another media timeout here in the New River Valley. We'll step aside and come right back. Hokies in control here from Lane. You're listening to ACC College Football on 3304 Sports. Welcome back to Blacksburg, 38-10 Virginia Tech on top of Syracuse. 7:47 to play here from Lane Stadium, where it has been all Virginia Tech against the Orange on a Thursday night in Blacksburg. Carter Hill, Tyler Katz alongside you here on behalf of 3304 Sports, where Kyle Lowe is about to boot it away once again, kicking off for Virginia Tech with Destin Hawkins back to receive for the Orange. Tech by 28, looking to keep it there at the very least. And here's Kyle Lowe booting it away, end over end. And once again, no surprise, it goes through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
One stat I want to bring up is you take a look at the scoreboard in the north end zone, 138 total yards for Syracuse today. Virginia Tech has beaten that in both the passing and rushing category. 138 total yards for rushing and passing for Syracuse. 283 rushing yards for Virginia Tech.
Garrett Schrader still in the ball game, has 4 wide with LaQuint Allen in the backfield. He receives the snap, drops back, pressure comes, rolling to his left, and they get to him again! You've got to be kidding me! It looked like on the play, Elijah Clock, the redshirt freshman, got to him. First career sack, first career snap on defense played in, and the Hokies take down the starting quarterback of the Orange.
I mean, this offensive line has something to get at with Garrett Schrader.
Snap back to Schrader. They give off to Allen, veering to his right, and is ripped down by Caleb Whitson immediately at the 15-yard line. A gain of 2 on the play on 2nd and 22, and it's now 3rd and 20 for the Orange as we move under 7 minutes to play. This is the entire 2nd and 3rd string defense on the field for Virginia Tech, and I'm almost surprised Garrett Schrader's still in this ball game.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Del Rio Wilson has come in a lot of games in that backup role so far.
4 wide for the Cuse. LaQuint Allen in the backfield. Schrader stands in the gun on 3rd and 20. Takes the snap, dropping back. Pressure comes, fires it near side. It's caught by Allen, trying to follow some blockers across the 20. Cutting back inside and is downed at the 25. Back to the original line of scrimmage where the Orange will punt on 4th and 10. Caleb Whitson again made the stop. Somebody who is a true freshman and somebody who has probably a very bright future here at Virginia Tech.
Yeah, true freshman has already been making a name for himself, so good to see him making a few plays. And we're going to see Syracuse punt it away again.
And Xavion Turner-Bradshaw is back to receive. Another freshman with some high potential for Virginia Tech. He stands at his own 28-yard line. Snap back to Stonehouse. He will boot it away. End over end once again. It's a short one that bounces at the 35, continues to roll at the 30, still rolling down to the 26. And they will down it there. And I don't know if you caught that, Mr. Katz.
I did.
But Xavion Turner-Bradshaw, I don't want to say got away with something, but they tried. I don't remember where I saw it, but a couple weeks ago, you can legally in college football now try and throw the punt returner into the ball to make the ball live, and Syracuse tried to do that, and I don't think Mr. Turner-Bradshaw appreciated that very much.
No, and I'm going to keep it a buck. I don't find any benefit into hiding it. I mean, he threw a punch.
Yeah, he did. I was a little surprised that there wasn't something extracurricular. I don't know if I call it a punch, but maybe a Nice little slap across the face mask, but we're going to go to another media timeout with 5:45 to play from Blacksburg. I think, Tyler, the only drama left in this game is, are we going to see Pop Watson make his collegiate debut in just a minute? So we'll find out when we return. 38-10, Hokies in control on 3304 Sports. Yep. Welcome back to Blacksburg, where Pop Watson, the true freshman from just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, is about to make his collegiate debut with Virginia Tech cruising against Syracuse 38-10 with 5:45 to play. Chance Black is in the backfield as Virginia Tech goes 4 wide, with Watson about to take his first collegiate snap. Tyler Katz, Carter Hill alongside you here on behalf of 3304 Sports. Snap back to Watson. He gives off to Chance Black, who cuts back inside to the 30 and is taken down right there after a gain of 3 on the play. That is the first carry that has gone for positive yardage this year for Chance Black, and it's 2nd and 7.
I want to see Pop Watson throw the ball. I know you're trying to milk the clock, but if you're going to put him in, why give him the boring job of handoffs?
William Watson III out of rural Massachusetts, and an early enrollee from back in January.
And really impressed in the spring game, I might add.
Yes, touchdown pass to the far sideline. 5 minutes to go from Blacksburg. 3 wide with Chance Black at the right hip of Pop Watson. 2nd and 7 from the 30. He receives the snap, gives it off to Black, who's across the 30 to the 35, and is taken down right at the sticks at the 37. That is a 7-yard pickup on the play, and a slew of orange defenders got to him. Looked like Braylon Ingram was the first one there to make the stop, the starting linebacker for the Orange, who is still in the ball game. Under 4:30 to play here from Lane Stadium. 1st and 10 from the Syracuse 37. Cole Pickett, the 4th-string tight end, is also in the ballgame. Xavion Turner-Bradshaw, Aiden Green, and another one to the far side that we cannot see the number. Snap back to Watson. Spin move at the 35, veering to the middle of the field, and is absolutely crushed down to the ground at the 37. It's a gain of 1 potentially, and it's 2nd and 9 now for the Hokies as we move under 4 minutes to play. It appeared like on the play, Miles Farmer was the one to get to the true freshman.
And he stood up and over Pop Watson like he just made the biggest play of the game. I don't think Miles Farmer knows his team is down 38-10.
Not what you want to see, though, if you're Brent Pry and company, to see your young quarterback get hit like that, leading by 4 scores. In the gun is Pop Watson. 3 receivers wide. Chance Black in the backfield, standing at his right hip. Watson, clap of the hands, takes the snap, gives it off to Black, who rushes forward again across the 40, 45, 47, and is thrown down right there just prior to the sticks. And it brings up likely a 3rd and 1 after Jaden Gould got to him, the redshirt freshman out of Somerset, New Jersey.
Transfer from Nebraska, only played 1 game for the Cornhuskers, and probably the biggest game last year for Nebraska against number 6 Oklahoma, making a name, and now it's Syracuse.
So 3rd down and 1 from the Virginia Tech 46-yard line. Under 3 minutes to play, Hokies, what a performance tonight against the Syracuse Orange. How about this? 0 rushing yards for Syracuse. Pop Watson in the shotgun, 3 receivers wide. Jeremiah Coney in the backfield. He receives the snap, gives it off to Coney, cutting back inside. He's to midfield at the 50 and is downed right there. It's a pickup of 4, and the Hokies move the sticks again after it looked like J.J. Branham made the stop for the Syracuse Orange.
Yeah, and for Syracuse, this has kind of got to be a wake-up call, right? I mean, having 3rd, 4th stringers for Virginia Tech coming into the game's got to be a wake-up call that something needs to change.
Pop Watson standing in the shotgun. 2:10 to play here from Blacksburg. Hokies by 4 scores. Left to right goes Virginia Tech right at midfield. 1st and 10 with 3 on the play clock. Watson, clap of the hands, takes the snap, gives it off to Jeremiah Coney, who's immediately thrown down behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 1 on the play, and it is 2nd down and 11 at Tech's own 49 with Justin Barron making the stop.
And I know a lot of people have gone downtown to get dinner, to get a couple of drinks afterwards. We're almost at the 11 o'clock hour. It's effectively garbage time of this game, but a lot of fans have stuck around to watch the final snaps of this game.
1:30 to play, 2nd and 11. Tech could need the ball if they so chose. Watson in the gun, 3 receivers wide, Bryce Duke in the backfield. Snap back to Watson, gives it off to Duke, crosses midfield at the 50, and veers to his right down to the 49 of Syracuse. So that brings up a 3rd and 9 after a gain of 2. And all Virginia Tech has to do now, as we head south of a minute to play, is take a knee and this ball game's over.
Yeah, it was good to see Pop Watson run the ball. However, even though he got upended, it was a decent spin move and showed a lot of promise for the future of this team.
Tech will run a play from scrimmage. 45 seconds to go. Virginia Tech's going to win this one 38-10. 3rd and 9 from the Syracuse 49-yard line. Pop Watson in the shotgun with 3 receivers wide. Bryce Duke in the backfield, 4 on the play clock. Watson, clap of the hands, takes the snap, gives it off to Bryce Duke, who rushes forward across the 45, got space at the 40, and is thrown down at the 38. That will give the Hokies a 1st down, and that is how this ball game is going to end with 25 seconds to play and a running clock. And yes, that looks like it will do it. Brent Pry remains on the sideline. South of 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, and I'm a little confused on why the coaches aren't coming out, and there they go.
Here they come. Brent Pry and Dino Babers will shake hands in midfield. A dominant 38-10 victory for Virginia Tech over the Syracuse Orange as the Hokies embarrass Syracuse. And Brent Pry, Mr. Katz, is making progress in year 2.
Yeah, you talk about a team last year that got its only wins against, frankly, a really bad Boston College team, an FCS school in Wofford, and then had to escape Liberty, who, by the way, is undefeated this year and looking really good in their first year in the CUSA. And that was really the in my opinion, the only good win for Virginia Tech last year. Now they're 4-4 with wins against Wake Forest and Pitt, who both made the ACC championship game not too long ago, and a Syracuse team who beat them under Justin Fuente's final year as head coach a couple of years ago. So Brent Pry coming in and doing what Justin Fuente couldn't, which is defeat Syracuse, and they do it handily. For Virginia Tech, and this is from a standpoint that I think a lot of Virginia Tech fans are going to like, of if this team plays the way they did today, and I know the talent isn't the same comparing Syracuse to Louisville, but if Virginia Tech plays like this when they go to Kentucky next week, they can 100% take down the Cardinals. You saw what Pitt did to Louisville a couple of weeks ago. That was the week that Virginia Tech played Wake Forest. They are a beatable team in Louisville. They have a few good wins, but for Virginia Tech, you have to look at the game that you just played against Syracuse. You have to look at how you played against Wake Forest and say, we have a team that can go out and beat anybody if we run the right plays and run the right schemes. I think that is a very winnable game next week for Virginia Tech, and they don't return here to Lane until their final game of the year here at Lane against NC State on the 18th of November, but Virginia Tech has a chance to be 5-1 in the ACC when they return here. That's an upset win over Louisville and then taking care of business against Boston College. But all winnable games for Virginia Tech, and you would not have said that after their game against Marshall, but a reinvented offense, a reinvented team under Kyron Drones. This team is clicking on all cylinders. And I want to shift gears real quick to talk about Syracuse. Started 4-0, now on a 4-game skid, and have been embarrassed, frankly, in 3 straight games on their 3-game road trip. Luckily for them, they return home and finally get to play another game at the JMA Wireless Dome against a weaker team in the ACC in Boston College. But I say that Boston College now 4-3, 2-2 in conference play. So as it was last year, it's no longer a gimme to go in and beat Boston College. That's a Friday night game, and the schedule doesn't get a whole lot easier after Boston College. Pitt, Georgia Tech, and Wake Forest round out the Syracuse schedule, but this is a team that needs to reinvent itself, a lot like Virginia Tech did. And so this is just a turning point for both teams, in my opinion. Virginia Tech is able to take this. They're now 4-4 on the year. I think they can very well beat Louisville for a 3:30 kick next week. We'll have the coverage on that at 3304 Sports as well. And for Syracuse, just turn around and look to take on Boston College and hope that they're a little worse right now than their record shows.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Well, Virginia Tech's got a shot, and, it's not likely, of course. Still probably is not likely even if they do win next week. But if somehow Virginia Tech beats Louisville in the Bluegrass State next week at Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, the Hokies are going to get some buzz to, believe it or not, go to the ACC championship game. That's insane.
And I want to point out a scenario in which that could happen. Let's say Virginia Tech wins next week, and of course this is all hypothetical. Louisville now has 2 losses in the ACC. Regardless, Virginia Tech would have that tiebreaker over Louisville. If North Carolina goes in and beats Duke this coming weekend, that gives Duke a second ACC loss. Virginia Tech already has a tiebreaker over North Carolina if they beat their arch rival in Virginia in the last game of the year.
At this point.
Which, as of right now, as you said, seems likely, but UVA beat North Carolina. So because of that mutual opponent in North Carolina, Virginia Tech and North Carolina do not play. So here's the 3 things that kind of need to happen if Virginia Tech wants to have a shot. And, of course, this is hypothetical and unlikely. But beating Louisville, North Carolina defeating Duke, and Virginia Tech defeating Virginia and winning out this season, we could very well see a rematch of the Noles and the Hokies in Charlotte, North Carolina, if those 3 things happen, which is saying a lot, I know.
Yes. Low possibility, but with that being said, it's not so much of a low possibility where it's like instrumentally unlikely to happen. ESPN gave the Hokies a 5% chance to get to the ACC title game before today. And I can't imagine it'll climb too much, but if they win next week, I mean, yeah, again, still probably not going to happen, but, I mean, you got 3 games left, 3 very winnable games, 2 potentially 3 games that you should win, and if that ends up being the case, then, Charlotte bound for Virginia Tech. Tyler, I do want to throw it to you real fast. I know you had some stuff you wanted to say. I know, we hadn't talked about it. It is your final broadcast for 3304 Sports, and last day as sports director here at Virginia Tech and in charge of one of the, what's the word I'm looking for, more, I don't want to say relevant, but one of the more notable on-campus organizations here as a part of the School of Communication and Virginia Tech Sports Media and Analytics. So with that, I will turn it over to you.
Yeah, well, thanks, Carter. And I just, don't want to make it too emotional, but just kind of say my parting words. The first time I popped this headset on for 3304 Sports was 4 years, a month, 3 days, and about 4 hours ago. That was for a September game against Alabama in women's soccer with Jake Lyman, who's gone on to do some great things. I was brought in talking to Evan Hughes and Bill Roth, who since I've been here has returned to the booth for the flagship station for Virginia Tech. And as I end my college journey at Virginia Tech, I couldn't have been prouder of the work I've done. That game against Alabama was really the first game I ever called. And I know a lot of people, especially now, that want to join 3304 Sports to broadcast games, have some experience already coming out of high school or something of that effect. So for me to have my first broadcast with this organization and climb the ranks and eventually have the honor of being the sports director of this organization is something really special. I mean, there are people that I've met in this organization who are not only going to be at my wedding, but be standing up at my wedding. So I've just met so many important people, and this organization has meant so much to me, and it has been a staple of my time here at Virginia Tech. And again, I don't want to make this too long-winded or too sappy, but, for those listening right now, I just can't begin to say thank you enough to you, Carter, to everyone that I've shared the headset with, to Evan Hughes, to former broadcast partners who have since gone on to do bigger and better things, the likes of Kevin DiDomenico, Andy Losi, Jake Lyman. I mean, there are just so many people that I could express thankfulness and gratitude for. But as my time at 3304 Sports comes to an end, couldn't have asked for a better night to bid farewell. And Nick Brown taking over as sports director. I mean, he's been a great friend of mine since he stepped on foot on campus. And he'll do a great job leading the charge. And, you know, I don't like to say this part too much, but I am technically the longest tenured member of 3304 Sports, starting in the fall of 2019, culminating up to now when I'll officially step aside and let Nick Brown take over as full-time sports director. But again, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for, you know, Bill Roth bringing me in, Evan Hughes giving me words of encouragement. And it's just been the greatest experience of my life so far, and I can't wait to see where the journey takes me. So with that being said, I'll say my final words on a 3304 broadcast, and thank you so much.
Well said, Mr. Katz, our highly esteemed sports director here for 3304 Sports. Well, that'll do it from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg. And before we sign off, just one more note that I just saw on Hokiesports.com. Virginia Tech held Syracuse to 0 rushing yards tonight. So the Orange started the game with the same amount of rushing yards that they finished with. And that is a major reason why Syracuse falls to 4-4 on the 2023 season. Virginia Tech improves to 4-4 on the 2023 season. Two teams and two programs seemingly going in opposite directions. 38-10, Virginia Tech over Syracuse here from Lane Stadium in Blacksburg, Virginia. For Tyler Katz, for Will Loughlin down on the field, I'm Carter Hill signing off here from Blacksburg.